Song of my soul, my voice is dead. Die thou unsung as tears unshed, shall try and die in lost Carcosa.
Why, hello, and welcome to session 9 of Murmurs at the Abyss in the 7th edition of Call of Cthulhu. I am your keeper, Stu, and to my left.
Hello, I'm Kimi. I am Doris Daniels, and I am an adventuress and possible murderer now. Although that has not been confirmed.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Or resolved.
Or, yeah, who knows. So we'll see how that goes.
Might have been a sick person.
And I'm
Okay.
Jim. And I'm playing Isadore Holzman, almost portrayer of dog homicide. I guess I don't even know.
Allegedly.
Alleged. And is slowly going batshit nuts. So everything's going to plan.
Can confirm.
Hi, I'm CADave. I'm going to be playing Dr. Edward J. Freedman, who is still a doctor as we speak, but it's not looking good. And instigator of friendly dog violence.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
To be clear, the dog was injured slightly, and then we've since sent them to a safe place. So
Yes.
if you're just tuning in, this
Away
is not
from me.
That was one of my questions. The Dr. Kistler offered to take care of the dog for you. Did you agree to that, or
Yes.
because I had thought that you wanted to keep the dog with
No.
you,
Under
like
the
as moral
promise
support?
that they would leave a window open for him just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay, that
Yeah.
jogged my memory. All right,
So,
And because we feel like we are entering more mortal danger, we do not wish to endanger the dog.
yeah. It's one of these things where it's like, I don't think we're good for the dog. Poor dog.
because he's a good boy.
Poor Derlet. He's a really
Right?
good boy.
All right,
It's not my fault. I didn't write what I wrote on the character.
that's 100% my fault.
And a heads up, this game is Call of Cthulhu game, so it does deal with some pretty heavy issues. There's been characters contemplating self-harm. There's the insanity mechanics where characters lose agency, and we've all agreed to that, and we all know that joining this game. We had our lines and veils, but there is still some fairly disturbing things that match with the Lovecraftian mythos. So enjoy this content at your own risk.
Indeed.
Oh,
with a beer, hopefully.
And before I ask if we should start the review, our fourth player can introduce herself
Yay!
as soon as she gets her mic on.
Yeah.
I muted it. Ready? You're good.
Hi, I am Pooja. I'm playing Camilla Greenwald, a librarian who is not yet insane. Still.
Yay!
The only one.
Success.
Join us.
I'm pretty sure I will be soon. I just happen to have puppers to look after before.
Yeah. Now you don't anymore.
I don't anymore. Sob, sob.
Yeah, we just confirmed that Derelith is staying with Dr. Kistler.
Fine. I mean, best for puppers, just worst for me.
And that a window was being left open
Yes.
in the office where he is sleeping.
In case our vision comes to pass.
Yeah.
Right. Would someone like to summarize what happened last time in session 8? I wrote mine down. Mine are extremely concise. Should I start?
Maybe you should start.
Yeah,
Okay.
start and we'll assist as needed.
The party, after much discussion, decides to allow themselves to be experimented upon by Dr. Kistler's shared dream study. They are sedated. There's an operating room, the desert, the lake with the 9 doorways. They meet a Higa, a Navajo. He tells them that she who walks between shadows tried to set up a ritual, but he disrupted it. Let's see. he also tells them that in 2 years hence, that she will cause his demise. And at some point, the party realizes that their visions of Ahiga are actually happened a year prior to the current time.
Like our vision took us to the past.
Right.
Yeah.
You wake up in an operating room alone.
Well, alone because...
You're still dreaming.
Well, but we were only alone because the people that had been there were all
Gone. Dead.
They were all
dead.
dead.
It wasn't just empty.
Right.
Right.
But we didn't all wake up at the same time. I do remember that.
Oh, no. You got... Someone willed something to happen, and then you showed up back in the operating room.
Yes.
Then you went back to where the doorways were and started
that's right.
experimenting with them.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you try to wake up, and two of you are capable of doing so. Two are still asleep. The two that wake up are in the operating room, which is now a murder scene. They wheel the others into a conference room and wake them up there, and then you run through the place to Kistler's office, break into a locked filing cabinet and take files. Then you wake up for real. Mm-hmm. Then
and we know it's
So-
for real because the phone works.
Yes.
right.
And so, everyone being murdered was all part of
The
our
dream.
crazy dream.
Right.
But not all of us had that dream. Like, I stayed asleep.
We never
right?
saw it because they wheeled us out.
You,
before.
they did.
Oh,
They
but we
did
wake
wake you up.
Yes. So we
Yes,
saw that
but
vision.
we never
Outside of-
saw the...
right.
The
Bodies.
gore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Because we didn't want you to go even more insane.
then you called
Good
Ahiga.
call.
And you were able to verify that he does in fact exist, and he did remember the conversation that happened a year ago. I think that's when you realized that this was we were in the past. Then they go in to hide at a nearby rabbi's flat, which you're using as a safe house, and you buy some stuff. And the last thing I noted down here was that you were contemplating finding the nurse in Hamblenden who took care of Robert Trask.
Yeah.
We had arranged travel,
Okay.
and we were in the midst of a debate about whether or not we should call ahead or not.
Okay.
And I think we kind of are leaning not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we bought clothes so we didn't look like we're in our pajamas for the
Correct,
fourth
yeah.
day in a row.
They only stay clean so long.
Yeah.
Especially with all the sweating we do.
Yes.
And regardless of how well you tie the backs, you're still showing butt.
No, not pajamas, because we put it back on our pajamas.
Oh, you did?
We weren't running
Okay.
around in our
You weren't in
our
hospital gowns
surgery
anymore?
gowns, no. I don't think they would have sold clothes
The
to us
trick
then.
is just one forward, one backward.
Right. Well, yes.
Then you're good.
Just somebody shivering in the cold on the side. Going, how did I volunteer for this?
All right.
So,
So I think we right before we left we agreed not to
not to call.
call
Okay.
ahead.
I didn't recall if we came to a conclusion on
I think
that,
we did.
but I remembered the debate was leaning not.
Yeah, it seems like not would be better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's bad enough that they seem to already know where we are at all times
Yeah.
through the dreams, but like
Healthy amount of paranoia actually would work in our advantage at this point.
healthy about.
Yeah. Well, judging with what we've been dealing with, there's a certain amount of apprehension, fear, and paranoia that should come along with it.
Okay. So, did you book a car or a train to Hamblin?
I think it was a train.
Yeah, I think it was
I
a
believe,
train.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think we booked passage on a train.
Okay. So the train leaves in the morning. Are there any preparations anyone wants to make, or should we just fast forward right ahead to the?
I don't have anything that I.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything.
Okay.
Yeah, not really
can't-
necessary
Can't really go buy additional ammunition.
because it's Britain.
But you can buy alcohol.
Yes.
Well, and actually, guns weren't outlawed in
I don't-
Britain at this time.
They may not have been.
No, I googled it. I looked
Oh,
it
you
up.
did? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's a good idea for us wanted people to go around buying ammunition, but
I think the less we're seen out and about, the better.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I agree.
Okay. So the next morning, you guys prepare to leave. Does there? Are you going to leave word or try to get word to the rabbi to let him know that his house is empty again?
I think that the arrangement that we made is that I would let him know once he's ready to re-inhabit, to come back and move back in, and that we'd be using it for the time being. So I think the least amount of contact that I have with him, the better.
Okay. So you just arranged it for a day or two, or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys go to, I don't know, let's say some station, Covent something or other, whatever it was. And it's been a long time since I've been going there. And you end up on the train out into the English countryside to the north, to Hamlin, the made-up county that doesn't exist.
I'm going to pick up a bunch of the larger and some of the more local papers, like 3 or 4, and I'm just going to start pouring through them to see if I can find anything going on that's weird or something related to this.
You do find articles about the incident that happened at your hotel.
Okay.
There is also an article about a murder nearby, like within a few blocks, gunshot wound to the head, and that there was some sort of firefight or something that involved American tourists. And
We're the reason why they outlaw weapons.
they might probably, and they don't have your names, or at least they're not published. So, but it does mention that there's no mention of the giant horrible dog thing. Just a flurry of gunfire and screaming and people running through the alleys. And they also quote the cabbie that you hailed and punched. And there is a description of you.
Oh dear.
Well,
Do you share that with us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hells yeah.
Because I'm not reading the papers. I'm not a big reader.
Yeah, well, it's not like I can Google what happened, so I'm second best here.
oh yeah, no.
It's been like 2 days since it happened, so
Yeah.
the reporters have been collecting information. So on the train going north, it's several hours. It's probably a 4 or 5 hour train ride. There, at some point, Dr. Freedman, you realize that there's someone. You're sitting probably not in the dining car, but you're sitting in the seats where you sort of face each other and you have a sort of a table between you.
Okay.
But it's not
Like a lounge car.
right. And there is someone sort of like across the aisle, maybe like 5 rows down. Every time you look up and look in that direction, that person's looking away from you.
What do they look like?
It's a man. He's probably maybe in his 30s. He's got a mustache. He's kind of got long hair.
Like fairly well dressed, or
He's wearing a suit, professorial looking, sort of, but kind of frumpy. And he's got sort of blackish hair that's a little graying a little bit, a little gray in his mustache. And when he's not looking at you, he's looking down and he's working on something. He's got some sort of notebook or something, and he's like furiously scribbling in it.
probably, like, would everybody want to be there?
Well, as far as we know, you're the only one to notice this. So
Right. But
yeah, I'm in
just
the
saying,
car
like-
with you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
like if you wanted to be in your other actual seat
Nah,
or whatever,
I think
that's
that we're-
your choice.
I'd want to stay within eye shot of at least one of you at all times.
Yeah.
I can bear to let you out of my sight.
Yeah.
Lord only knows what would happen.
Exactly.
I'll very quietly and subtly, like, hand on the table, kind of get everybody's attention. Just
Okay.
looking out the window, and then I'll kind of glance and I'll go, give the subtle signs of, I think there's someone over there watching us or observing us.
Okay.
Like,
Who-
I'll probably point at the article and then point that way and go,
And who is sitting next to Dr. Freedman? Because that's the only person who can look in that direction without being obvious. Otherwise, you're...
whatever you do, don't look back there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2.
Okay.
I guess it's
So
me
we're
then.
exactly in this layout.
Right.
Convenient.
How convenient. Okay, so I look over.
And the only, I mean, there's a bunch of people there, but the person he seems to be indicating, he's just this guy. He's just sitting there. Looks like he's furiously writing. His brows are furrowed. It looks like he's in deep concentration.
No.
I'm going to get up.
Okay.
I think, like, as you start to get up, I'm going to put my hand on your arm, and I'm just going to indicate myself.
Oh, all right.
And I'm going to get up.
Okay.
Then I was just being polite.
And I'm going to walk over, and I am going to say, "Excuse me, are you... I'm so sorry to interrupt, but you wouldn't happen to be Professor Hutchinson, would you?"
Was? And he says something in German.
Oh. Remind me, out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Talking foreheads here. I can never remember the name of the professor who ran the clinic.
Dr. Kistler.
Thank you.
I think Hutchinson was one of his assistants.
It was. I just
Yeah.
picked a name
Right.
because I didn't actually think it was Hutchinson, but I wanted to start a dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
But, oh, no, not Hutchinson. Then you must be an associate of Dr. Kistler's.
And he says something in German, and he kind of has a confused look, and he sort of points at his ear.
And I tried French. I tried French.
Fancy.
It is the language of diplomacy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the continent. People
Yeah.
are multilingual.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
What are you going to say?
I'm just gonna repeat like the.
If you are-
if you know, are you an acquaintance of Dr. Kistler's?
And he says he does speak and understand French. He says no. Is he a mathematician?
Oh no, sorry, my mistake. He's conducting some studies in dreaming, I believe, the psychology of dreams in London, and where my associates and myself made his acquaintance.
Oh.
And you look so familiar. I mistook you.
Well, and unless you're a mathematician, I doubt you would know who I am.
Well, honestly, I do have some interest in the maths due to my position as a librarian for a university.
Make just a regular old knowledge roll.
Okay.
Cano.
Cano.
And
Let
give
me
it
see if
give
I
yourself
cano
give
things.
yourself advantage. Oh, is it called advantage? A bonus die. Bonus die in this game.
Whatever it is.
Right.
I get extra
That extra
things. I
tens place.
definitely
You roll-
like.
you-
I rolled an 11. Was my better one.
Okay. All right. You're pretty sure this is Albert Einstein, who just recently published his theory of relativity.
And honestly, you must get this all the time, but you remind me of Albert Einstein.
Oh, I am.
Oh my goodness! It's such an honor to meet you.
I'm watching this like,
I recently read your paper on
So we're being
relativity.
spied on by...
Oh, did you?
Albert Einstein,
Were you
are we?
were you able to follow it? I'm not a good writer.
I unfortunately because because maths is not my specialty and I'm more of a generalist. I did follow it as much as I could though, and it seemed quite profound.
Oh, it's actually a very simple theory if it's illustrated properly. And then he's kind of sort of scooches over and he invites you to sit down.
And I do.
And then he starts He takes his pen and he puts it on the table and says, here is how relativity works. Let's say there's someone outside of the train. We're moving at 40 miles an hour. And then he basically goes on and explains how relativity works.
The whole time I'm just like...
Do you speak French?
No.
Okay.
But at this point, I am 100% assuming, like, I'm afraid that you're in on something.
Okay. Well, after this, I'm going to say to him that I have a colleague who I believe would be very interested in meeting you. If you don't mind, I know I've taken quite a bit of your time.
Oh, no, not at all. That would be fine.
And I'm going to go
That
back.
would be fine, because you're speaking French.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to say to the table, I'm going to say, it is Albert Einstein.
Who?
He is a famous mathematician and just published a paper on relativity. I read it at the library in Ravenhearse. We did a small special lecture to try to explain it to people. Most did not understand it at all.
That seems very suspicious. I don't think mathematicians can be famous.
I use the word.
Sorry.
I use the word generously. When I say famous, I mean known in academic circles of math.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's better.
So it's not like famous like you're famous.
Oh, well, all right. Well, that's less suspicious then. All right.
But Isadore, I thought you might be interested in meeting the good doctor.
He's basically sort of like
Shaking with excitement.
shaking with excitement and giddiness. And goes, yes. I would love to be introduced to him.
What would a famous mathematician be on a train to the middle of nowhere, England?
We
Actually,
can
he's a
find-
physicist.
I revised my statement. What would a semi-famous physicist be doing on a train to the middle of nowhere, England?
We can find that out when we speak to him. It'll be lovely. I just didn't want to continue to speak alone without talking to y'all first because I know that we've been through some things and it might worry you.
Yes, good call.
I'm already kind of
Certainly.
standing up and straightening
So
myself
Isadore and I
out.
shall go back
Well, that's fine.
and speak with Dr. Einstein.
Hold the table then.
Yes.
Yes. Watch our backs.
Right. Well, I'm just going to have more coffee. Pretty sure even the two of you can take a mathematician.
So Isadore and I go back to Einstein.
Okay, all right. He sort of stands up and introduces himself.
I introduce myself and try not to gush too much. Because I had been at that lecture.
Okay.
And of course I probably have some fairly extensive questions about the nature of relativity and space-time.
Right.
And I'm going to try to basically sort of like go into alternate dimensions because that's part of his theory as well, and actually just try to pick his brain for some resolution as to, this interdimensional travel that we've actually been sort of doing,
Okay.
but without hinting that we've been doing it. Just
Okay.
sort of like, when you think about the possibilities of being able to side-slip into one of these alternate dimensions, do you think that, is it something that our consciousness can conceive? Blah blah blah. How many alternate? Yeah, you brought up the possibility of up to 11 extra dimensions, and all that stuff. Just
Man, I'm glad you know what you're talking about.
Good job, Jim.
I would like to also just slip in one of the it's so serendipitous that we were able to meet you going out to such a odd location as Hamblenden.
Oh, yes, there's. I need to consult with a physicist who resides in the area there. There have been some inconsistencies in some of the predictive models of space-time that I have not yet been able to. What's what I'm looking for? Reconcile. And I have a colleague whom I have actually never met but have corresponded with for quite some time, who lives there, who I'm going to go in and visit with and consult and see if between the two of us we can figure out what these inconsistencies are, if they're an incorrect calculation, or if there's something that needs to be modified about the theory.
I also ask him whether delving into the secrets of the functions of the actual universe, does he think that it brings him closer to God? Or basically trying to, basically sort of questioning him on his religious motivations for upending everything we believe in.
Right. He actually kind of gets a little defensive. Not, he's still friendly, but he's like sort of like he's he's had these sort of arguments that have gone along this line before, and his basic premise of it is that if there is truth to be had, would not God want us to know it?
And I tell him, I agree with you totally as a scientist myself. My God is a very large God. And my God is capable of seeing things from virtually every angle. So I believe that our quest for knowledge and our quest for truth is a quest for godliness in and of itself. But, it becomes difficult from a philosophical. When I meet someone as brilliant as yourself, and someone that answers questions that are as large as the question of who we are and our place in the universe, I always like to ask them how they reconcile their beliefs with these scientific truths, and just like basically just lead them down to that road. I'm not basically doing it as criticize, and I just wanted to see his point of view on it, and from a sort of like a more broad-minded point of view than somebody that you would think would be strictly religious. But
right.
It's one of the things that he grapples with all the time in himself, is the fact that he researches history, and a lot of what comes from what our belief structures come from are certain pivotal points in history that must be true biblically in order for these things to be true. But sometimes you stumble over things that maybe are somewhat inaccurate, and how you reconcile those things to yourself. And is that part of the fundamental problem solving that you go through when you release this type of information? And do you take that into account when you release this information, and how people are going to react and how that's going to challenge their core beliefs?
No. I can't be concerned with how people will react to what I release. If I did that, I would never have released anything. My own colleagues derided me when I originally proposed the theory of relativity.
Well, I know of a young Jew that came forth with some fairly radical ideas that formed the foundation of an entire civilization, and I see that things did not end up very well for him either.
Indeed. Perhaps I shall have better luck.
I will hope so. And in that you have my full support, Doctor. No, but he is just overwhelmingly happy with this. And we'll probably overstay his welcome a little bit longer than he probably should have.
Right.
And then sort of go, oh, this is rude. And then
he has a notebook open, and you can see he has all kinds of calculations and things that he's working on that, like, very advanced.
Yeah, it's way over my effing head. Yeah.
It looks like gibberish.
It's like, wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
So we rejoin the party.
All right. And anything anyone else want to do while they're on the train or anything like that? Okay. All right.
I'm going to keep my eyes open.
Okay. He does continue to look at you over the course of like every 15 or 20 minutes you kind of, and you can catch him.
So he continues to not look at any of us very intently throughout the course of the journey.
Except for staring at Dave every certain time. Or the group.
Well, Dave sees he's staring at him.
Yeah. Oh. Great. That's the thing about this game.
Quit.
I'm gonna order a drink.
I feel versatile.
You can order drinks on trains, right?
Yeah, of course.
I will have been doing that this
Isn't
time.
it like 9 o'clock in the morning?
I mean,
It's probably past noon by the time you're almost there.
Okay.
Probably the last hour.
I'm American. It's late at night.
It's a
somewhere.
5 o'clock somewhere theory.
Yeah, it's midnight in L.A.
I of course give my card to Dr. Einstein.
Okay.
If you ever, this is my course of work, and I'm certain that we would love to have you at Ravenhearse University to do a lecture if it's at all possible, if you find the time while you're in the States. Blah 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 blah.
Okay. He gives you his card as well.
I know for a fact he will visit the United States.
Yes.
And this city in particular.
Los Angeles? Or Pasadena?
Pasadena.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He dedicated the observatory at
Oh,
TTC
really? Oh, okay.
in 1931.
Oh.
That's awesome.
I learned a thing.
Yep. All right.
Also, that Einstein spoke French. I didn't know that either.
One of the few languages he didn't speak was English. I found the list.
Ever? He never learned?
He never learned English.
Oh.
German was the language of
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
So he's German, Italian, French. No, well, it lists English here, but I specifically found
Maybe not till later.
it may have been later in life.
Yeah.
And Latin,
That makes sense.
French, German, Italian, Latin.
Well, I mean, who didn't know Latin?
Right.
Right.
Okay. So it pulls into the station, and it's this is a very beautiful countryside. I mean, very extremely green. The station itself is very small. Just a couple of small buildings, like the station where you buy your tickets, and there's like a little waiting room next to it, and then the platform itself. But there's not much here. You can see that there's a few carriages and a couple of cars waiting for people, and people get out and get into them and whisk away. But it is beautiful countryside. A lot of farms.
Yeah.
Dairy.
I'll go see if there's some kind of transport for hire
There are cabs.
and acquire us one so we can get to our
Okay.
destination.
So we can ambush the nurses.
Yeah. Awesome.
And they get your stuff, and the guy gets help from like a boy.
We don't have a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
We've shed most of our accoutrement.
Okay.
We're traveling light.
And then they where to?
We got an address.
I believe you did have an address.
I am going to ask when we get to the station if there's anywhere to buy bullets nearby.
On the countryside, it might be easier.
Yeah. And we won't be as recognized.
Oh yeah, there's a fish and game store.
Okay. Well,
Are we going there first?
let's
then?
start there first.
Sure.
Well, let's ask for camping gear and outdoors gear, not just like where you buy bullets.
Too late. Already done.
Yeah. Already did the
We
thing.
didn't ask the cabbie that.
Yeah.
No, we asked someone at the station.
All right. Good.
And looking it up, like bullets weren't for like pistols weren't outlawed until like the 1990s.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So, and especially in like farm country, it probably wouldn't be that.
No.
It might be weird to have a woman asking, but
There are a lot more guns in the country in Britain than there are in the big cities.
Sure.
So you basically probably asked to go to town first, because it's not a big place.
No.
So you go through the countryside, and it's rolling hills, and you see cows over here and sheep over here, goats and stuff. And you end up in this little small town. It's all these little cobblestone buildings, and it looks extremely quaint to American eyes. And it, sort of off in the distance, you can see the Hamblenden Manor.
okay.
And it's sort of on a hill, and it's this big, grand looking, extremely square looking structure.
Like strangely so.
No.
Okay.
No, like someone knew what they were doing. They weren't
Okay.
drinking when they were building it.
The architecture does not seem out of place from the rest of the architecture.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Nor is
no,
it dilapidated and leaning.
no, not at all. No,
It's well maintained.
It doesn't have Casa de Evil written.
no.
All right. I've known some GMs that are that obvious. So.
So we go to the fish and game store.
Okay.
I'm gonna buy bullets for my Colt 38. Do they have other guns that I can purchase?
Let's see. They probably have shotguns. That probably something that it would almost always have. They probably have a few rifles. They might have a few pistols.
Okay. I'll buy. They don't have a replacement, the lever carbine that I had. I mean, those are pretty common.
Oh, lever action.
Yeah.
Lever action rifle. Yeah. Let me look.
I'll just get a rifle then. That's okay.
Like a bolt action.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. That you can easily
Something I'd be like familiar with already.
I poured water on my mouse pad. My mouse pad only works half the time now. I'm so annoyed.
That's unfortunate. And then I'll just get a bunch of bullets for both guns. So
Okay.
a bigger gun again and my little gun.
How much ammo do you want to get for your 38? They come in boxes of probably 50.
Good. How big are the boxes? Okay. You see, I have a handbag that's like this big, so I buy like 4 boxes.
Okay. All right. And what else do you want to get? They have a Martini Henry repeating rifle.
Okay.
Little longer than the carbine
Okay.
that you had, but similar.
Okay, that's what I'll get.
All right.
Should I use the same damage for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was sort of my thing. I'm like, I get something without metagaming that matches what's on my character sheet already, so I don't have to look something else up. Okay, cool. And then that's what I get.
Okay.
If you're going to be anything, be efficient.
Plus, I assume that's what she'd be the most familiar with shooting, so she'd want something similar, so
Right.
she's
Yeah.
good with it.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I get half as many, like 3 boxes of bullets with that one. I don't know.
Okay.
There'd be fewer in a box, but no. I just think they'd be longer for that information.
Well, no, it depends.
Yeah.
My lever action rifle uses pistol ammunition.
Yeah, most
He
of
uses
them
357.
did use, 45 or 357.
Yeah, so it's probably 45. It's probably about the same, slightly heavier box, but probably 50
Okay.
to a box.
Cool. I'll get as many as I can fit in my handbag. So
Okay.
if I can get by 4 of those too, I'll
You can. It's going to make your handbag kind of heavy
Sort of.
at that point.
That's okay.
Then it also becomes a weapon.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I have a strength of 85. I'm okay carrying a handbag
yes.
of bullets.
And you can hear the shunk, 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 because the bullet's rattling around.
Yeah.
That's my ammo. I don't know you.
Okay. Now, what is your daily spend?
The 50 or something.
Yeah, it's the same as me.
Yeah, I've got.
That might exceed
Oh, okay. Then I don't want to.
only because of the cost of that rifle.
Oh, okay.
Let me just double check real quick, but I think the rifles are not. They're not 50.
Okay.
They're probably quite a bit more expensive.
I'll buy everybody a good pair of boots,
Oh, okay.
seeing as we're in the countryside.
How
Okay.
appreciated. That's so sweet.
That's very sweet.
Yeah.
What is your daily spend? Because y'all did
50.
have the same.
Same thing, 50. I can't imagine that they're going to be more than $12 a pair for boots.
No. Especially not out in the country like this.
Like we're on Bond Street.
How much are they?
$20
For
a boot? No, for the rifle.
It's like crap.
And the bullets definitely don't cost $30.
Oh no, not even close. No way.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's so funny.
Stu's like, note to self.
Live in the 20s.
Build a
Back
time
in
machine.
time.
Well, A, and B, limit all players' credit scores in the future.
Well, we had to roll for that. That was the thing we got.
That's a rolled
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's a rolled stat.
It was
Within a what was the rolled stat?
It's within a parameter based
Parameter.
on-
Like
Right.
within a range.
Yeah.
No, it was.
No, you
could
bought
buy
that.
out.
That
Yeah.
one.
You buy it, but you have to have a minimum for the class that
Yeah.
you choose, for
Right.
the profession that you choose.
But it was just I chose to spend points there instead of other places.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is why I haven't been particularly good at actual medicine.
The best paid doctors aren't very good at actual medicine.
Right.
Yeah, sounds legit.
Totes.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go up to the Enlightened Manor.
Okay.
Now that you're
Well,
Ready for
restocked.
anything.
do we want to go there? Or do we want to go try and find this nurse first?
I, in my brain, thought that was where the nurse would be. So let's go to the nurse's
Oh,
place.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, you have an address that's like down, West Hamilton Road or something.
Great. So we'll go there. Sorry, ignore me.
No, it's all good. I was like, wait, she lives there? I thought I missed something myself.
Okay.
Also, while I'm there, sorry, before we leave, since we're shopping, and you love shopping so much.
I. Oh my God.
So can I buy, I don't want to buy a gun belt It's a little obvious. But like, there's got to be some sort of like fanny pack of the time period. I just don't want all my bullets in one place. So like,
How about
knapsack.
I buy a small
Like a bandol.
bag, a small backpack, and I offer to carry some of her ammunition for her.
Okay.
well, no, I just don't want it all in one place because if I lose my handbag, I lose.
Oh, you
all
want
my
to spread it out?
I'm
I'm just
spreading
saying-
it out on myself.
Spreading it out between a couple of people. Actually
That's probably a good idea too.
Okay.
Don't put all your lead eggs in one basket.
Right.
Doesn't work.
I think it would be
Especially-
better if you shared it with Edward because he also has a gun
That's true.
True.
versus.
No, you don't have that gun anymore, do you?
Yeah, I think I do. I don't think
Didn't
I
you leave
threw
it in the
away.
hotel? Did you take it with you?
No, because I emptied it and then we ran.
Oh, so you kept it with you?
I think so.
Oh, I thought it was gone. I've just been assuming. I didn't ask.
I know your rifle. Someone like threw it at
I
it or
did.
something.
I
Yeah.
threw the rifle.
I remember that.
I've handled that problem.
Yeah, because I remember I emptied it
Okay.
through the door and then we ran.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't ever remember saying I put it down.
Okay.
Or threw it at the monster.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think I did.
Great. If you have a gun and I know it, I buy him bullets too. He
I think
has.
they're the same.
Yeah. Because it was one of my guns, wasn't it?
No, I bought it
No, he
individually,
bought it.
Oh, okay.
but it was a 38.
Okay.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, we have guns for that bullet.
Bullets for
Bullets
that
for
guy.
that gun. Yeah. But yeah, and I get some sort of belt with like a little pouch on it or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they have something like that.
Okay. It might look.
And what, bandolero?
No, I didn't. It's a little obvious.
Like a messenger bag, kind of.
Oh, sure.
Doris is like, yes, that would be fantastic, but I'm maybe wanted in London. Maybe I shouldn't go walking around with a bandolero on.
Probably not.
We're not actually a bunch of Wild West bandits.
Yeah, a super gun violence girl with
I
an
mean,
arrow.
she has
pointed at her.
one, but it's like nice and embroidered and at home with her show outfit.
Sure.
Okay.
But we're not doing a show now.
No, that's why
But
she's not
again,
wearing it.
it was a Wild West show.
Yes.
How much is a shotgun, by the way? Just out of
20.
curiosity.
Probably around the same.
same.
Probably around 20.
Why, do you need one? You want one?
I was thinking about getting something to
All
arm
the
myself,
fear.
but I look so ridiculous. And I feel so ridiculous.
Okay.
Sure.
Sorry.
When we
I'll
visit
take
the
a
nurse,
shotgun
do
if
you
when
leave the
when it's
rifle
available.
in the...
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
outside.
they're
I mean, I got a $10 spend, is basically what I'm saying. If they could find some kind of weapon,
they probably have some that are used.
yeah.
Yeah.
I bought myself a shotgun with some rounds.
Okay. Probably the
Yeah, exactly. No,
double barrel
Double barrel. It's just bird shot rifle.
hammerlock, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Bless
a
you.
box of birdshot.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That would also be effective against locusts.
I'm just saying that.
It does seem like that might be a handy thing.
Yeah. I just want some spread on this thing.
Okay. I'll just say it kind of comes in a case,
Okay.
so you're not walking around the streets with a shotgun
And the rifle.
and a rifle. What do you?
Unless we all dress up as hunters.
Let's not.
We're out here for what? What are they? Foxes, right? That's what they hunt out here, right?
Well, that's with the horses and dogs. There's
They don't
not
do
a
that
lot of
with-
shooting.
We definitely
don't
don't
know.
look like we're going on a fox hunt. No. The four of us will never look like we're going on a fox hunt. Even if we were actually hunting foxes.
Yeah.
I don't think she thinks about that. I think she just.
But like pheasant and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more partial to brisket. But
Most farmers frown on you shooting their cows.
yeah. Oh, not the livestock. Okay, so
And
let's
there's
go
not a lot
visit
of
this nurse
feral
now that we're
cows.
armed to the teeth.
Okay.
They probably have like those canvas zipper bags.
Yes.
I've never not played in a Call of Cthulhu game where at some point everybody goes, well, we should get some guns or something.
Doris feels much better about life right now.
I'm gonna point out like a stylish case, like that you can sling across your back for your rifle and say like, "Oh, isn't that the latest fashion? I think I saw it in a magazine."
Are you an old guy? You like hanging out in alleys late at night? Warning!
So I'll get whatever. Yeah, it's the most stylish thing, obviously.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I just need
Okay.
to check. Did I give anyone the name of that nurse? Because I
Yes.
don't have it written down.
Abigail.
Another Abigail? I use the name Abigail too much.
Northrup.
I use the name
No,
Abigail.
that's not the nurse.
That's the nurse.
Oh, you've got the paperwork.
Is
The
it?
transfer paper.
Abigail Northrup, the nurse, is the one that
Oh.
Robert Trask was entrusted to transfer back to London.
Oh, because I thought that was the name of the Abigail that was in the
No.
in New York.
There's
it's
three Abigail.
That's Abigail something else.
That's
Do we
the-
want to
that's-
retcon it so
that
it's
was
not
the,
Abigail?
That was the dilettante Abigail.
Yes.
The
For some
mosquito.
reason, in the 1920s, I really liked the name
Of the
Abigail.
New York
It's a good name.
Abigails.
Right.
Yeah, because this is because the New York, the yellow fever person was also Abigail.
Yes.
Abigail Northrup. We'll call her Nurse Northrup.
We'll call her Abby.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There you go.
Or you just change it to Gail.
Yes.
Oh, there
you
you go.
could just change it to Gail.
Okay. So you're going along and you find the address, and it's a wooden structure. It's not, I mean, most of the structures are cobblestone, but this one is wooden. It looks like it's sort of an apartment, and she's at number 3, and basically you've got units that are sort of side by side, almost like what are they called? The little 2-story like brownstones that they're called. I can't remember what they're called. Something like that. Look kind of like that. And there's like a group of like 6 of them. They have little gardens in the front with little picket fences.
Like council housing?
Is that what that's called?
Well, like, does it look like housing provided by the government for low-income people?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It's nicer. And there's a garden. She has roses.
Oh, nice. Well, I suppose the time is now.
Go up there and knock on the door.
Okay.
Perhaps not all of us should go at the same time. It might be a bit intimidating. I'm going to stand it here by the garden gate.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Then if you get invited in, you can invite me with you. Say I'm with you. Just as a woman, I wouldn't want to open the door for 4 strangers.
True.
Good thing.
You can hear someone inside walking, taking a long
knock,
time.
knock.
Yeah.
I'm
Walking.
patient.
Yeah.
Knock on the door.
And then you hear, who is it?
Hello, my name is Edward Freeman. I've come all the way from America. I believe that my colleague shared a patient with you at one point. If you are indeed Nurse Northrup.
I am. She opens the door. She's
That was
obviously she's probably mid-50s, late 50s. She's blind.
Ah,
That was
And
a lot of locks for a small country town.
yes.
I feel the need to point out.
Yes.
Yes.
And she says, "Oh yes, please come in."
yes. I have 3 colleagues with me that made the journey.
Oh, very well.
And I'll
There you go. Hi, I'm
Way
Dr.
beyond.
Holzman.
A pleasure, please. And she sort of gestures to the, like a sitting room to the side of the entryway. I was just about to have some tea. Would you like some?
no, please don't trouble yourself.
Oh, well, I was about to have some tea.
It would be
lovely.
lovely.
Thank
It
you.
would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Would you like any help in the kitchen?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you. And she says that the tea service is there. And she points toward a cabinet,
So I take down the tea service.
and then she assembles everything. And as you carry it, she's using a cane.
Yes.
to get around.
While they're in the kitchen, Doris does like a sweep of the room, of the sitting room.
I just
Okay.
sort of look around.
It is sort of what you would expect from an retired elderly woman's house. There's a lot of doilies and little paintings. The place is extremely dusty, which probably is understandable. But it looks like the place is, I mean, she's attempting to keep the place clean, but there's places that she's forgetting because she can't see. But it looks comfortable and warm.
Okay.
Does she look like she's just blind, or does she look like some kind of traumatic event?
The irises of her eyes are white.
Okay.
I mean,
Like cataract white or like.
possibly cataracts, maybe a disease, possibly, but it doesn't look like an injury
Okay.
or anything like that.
That's maybe what it was.
Nothing probably they'd be able to. I mean, maybe. I guess they could do cataracts in the 20s. People knew about cataracts, right?
We knew about them, but we didn't have anything
Yeah.
to do about it yet.
Yeah, I don't think cataract surgery happened until like the 70s.
No, yeah, that's a lot longer.
Great.
And she. Yeah, well, you set the
So
tea.
I bring the tea service out, and I curse my continental manners for not even bringing over, like, you know, a thing of sandwiches as we come to visit some old women.
But we brought bullets.
No, I don't think no one's gonna eat those. But
So, again, terribly sorry to bother you,
Oh no, it's no bother. I'd very rarely get guests these days.
but it seems that my department chair, you see, we are all colleagues at a university in New York. And my department chair at one point treated a gentleman that had survived the Titanic disaster. Mm-hmm. His name was Robert Trask.
Oh yes. Oh, you're from Ravenhearse then.
Yes.
Yes. I was the nurse who was sent to retrieve him and escort him back to London.
Ah, that's what I'd hoped to hear. You see, we are attempting to track down Mr. Trask and see how his treatment has progressed over the years.
Mr. Trask. Give me 1 second. Now I have to go through all of these details that I wrote 6 months
Shuffle
ago.
some papers.
you know, she stares off into the middle distance, you
Yeah.
think, as she tries to remember.
It was such a long time ago, you see.
Mr. Trask died. It must have been 8 years ago, 6 years ago, perhaps. Not quite 6 years, because I do remember it was on Halloween. I want to say it was 1917. He died in a fire.
Oh, whereabouts was this?
I believe this was it was his parents' home. Where was his parents' home? Give me a second. Which is just outside of London. But it was his parents, I believe, had already passed, and his doctor had been made his ward, and I believe that he was put in what would they call it, the executor of the estate. Until some such time that Mr. Trask would be competent enough to take possession himself. But I don't know if that would have happened. He was a very troubled young man.
Indeed. That's why we were attempting to follow up on what his condition might have been in the years after he left Ravenhearse. Because I'm personally working on a paper about some of the treatments that he was beginning to undergo to see if we can help other troubled folk find their way. But
now he was under the care of a psychologist, Dr. Philip St. John. And I do not know what came of him, but
and this was the doctor that was his caretaker.
Indeed, and also governor of his estate. Mm-hmm. But I believe I read that he had sold the property to a third party, and I had not heard anything of him since.
You know what hospital he worked out of?
I believe he worked out of the London Institute of Psychiatry. Sorry. Which, of course, is familiar to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's sad news. Did they believe the fire was an accident, or?
I believe so. I never heard anything about it being arson or anything of the sort. I do recall that they said he died in bed. But I might have some newspaper clippings, but I wouldn't be able to find them for you anymore. But I could. But if you wanted to see the boxes they might be in my attic, I would certainly let you.
Oh no! That would be too much. But we could certainly. You've given us plenty of information to go on to do a little research ourselves.
I mean, it might be nice to find those articles. Sorry to interrupt. Might be nice to have those articles for the exhibition.
Well.
It isn't the worst idea, and especially coming from such a reliable source as yourself.
Okay. What do they call it? The first source or something? Sorry. I'm not
if they're
professor.
newspaper articles, that's not. But it's fine. I was meaning to ask you, Nurse Northrup, was the journey back with Mr. Trask uneventful for you? Did you have a good passage?
I do remember it was cold. And the poor man was plagued with terrible, terrible dreams. He would wake up at all hours, screaming.
Do you know perhaps any of the content of these dreams? Did he speak to you about them?
Well, I was under instructions to keep him as sedate as possible, so that he would not be a danger to himself or others on the trip. So I'm afraid I did not have a great amount of interaction with him, at least on the ship specifically. He had apparently tried to take his life on more than one occasion. Though I did not feel the need to restrain him, he seemed reasonably calm even when he wasn't sedated. But no, the dreams were very disturbing. They involved sea creatures. It seemed to involve his and it seemed to all revolve around his experience in the Titanic. The poor child.
Well, certainly I can understand.
A very traumatic episode, I would say.
Yes, he was I believe he was a member of the crew. He was a able-bodied seaman, third class or something. I don't remember specifically. He did tell me that at one point, but and he was picked up by the Carpathia and brought to New York. He had several fingers on each hand amputated from frostbite, and toes as well.
When you arrived back in London, did you immediately give him over to the care of this Dr. St. John?
No, I was hired by his parents, and I took him to his family home, and they had a doctor. I do not remember his name, but they had a doctor with him for a few months, perhaps, but they were unhappy with the treatment, and they called me again and asked if I could recommend a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and I had worked with Dr.
St.
John. I'd worked with Dr. St. John before. He was, in fact, the only psychiatrist I'd ever worked for. And And so I had suggested him.
And were you continuing to work with Mr. Trask and his family?
Yes.
When Mr. Trask spent time with Dr. Kistler?
I don't recall the name Kistler. I do know that there were quite a few psychiatrists at the London Institute doing all kinds of different experiments, and that Dr. St. John would take Mr. Trask into the city specifically for these. It's driving me crazy. Everyone mute your mic for a second. So, okay, that was someone. Unmute one at a time. Now it's gone.
Great.
I was stepping on this.
Oh. Okay. All right. But I was. Yeah, I'm sorry. You asked
If she was involved when Trask went to Kistler.
No, I mean she would escort. I would escort him occasionally to the London Institute, but I was never introduced into any of the other doctors there. They were involved in some very strange, very advanced, from what I understand, experiments on the mind.
Who was do you happen to recall the name of the first doctor who was working with Mr. Trask?
It was a Dr. Patrick Danvers.
Thank you so much.
I don't wish to speak ill of the dead, but he did not seem extremely competent.
And he is also passed then.
Yes. He was a rather elderly gentleman at the time that he took on Mr. Trask as a patient. Well past retirement age, I would say.
And was Trask always interested in art? Did he... Let me out of character double check. He actually painted that painting we found.
No.
No.
No, it was the guy who painted the painting was James Arthur Smith.
Sorry, my bad. Never mind.
But who was also in Hamblenden, and I would like to go see him after we are done here.
Yes.
FYI.
Ask her if she knows who he is. It's a small town.
That's true. Do you know of Mr. Trask having a relationship with James Smith, an artist here in town?
Oh, Lord Smith.
Ah.
Yes.
I was
They
unaware
met.
of his position. Excuse me.
Yeah, they met. It was 7 or 8 years ago when Lord Smith was a very young man. And they visited with his grandmother, the Viscountess, and I don't remember exactly where it was. At this point, Mr. Trask had become still troubled but more stable, and so he was allowed to travel and go into town with an escort, and that was often me. And it was a restaurant. I believe it was a restaurant that we met, and the young lord was very interested in the Titanic and had heard that there was in town a survivor of the wreckage, and asked and looked him up, and he they sat and talked for quite some time, and he told him about the ship and about some of the members of the crew that his companions that had died in the accident, and he also told him bits about some of his dreams. And I tried to dissuade him from scaring the boy, but he insisted. And he seemed very fascinated with Mr. Trask and with his history with the ship.
And is Lord Smith still resident here in town?
Oh, well, yes. He's sort of the black sheep of the family, but he does have a small cottage where he's a painter, and which, for someone of his birth, is.
They must have been so underwhelmed.
Yes, to say the least. They're very fine people, the Smiths.
I believe it. I mean, you can see by the state of the village itself. They are fine stewards.
Indeed. But yes, he lives in, and she gives you his address. Now, if you would like to see my files, I would be more than welcome to describe to you where they are. I haven't been in the attic in some years.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
She leads you upstairs to the second floor and down a little hallway, and then there's a little trap door. Mm-hmm. And says they're up there, and if I remember correctly, they're to the right.
All right, I'll go up there.
Okay.
I'll go. I'm not expecting to be the one looking through the boxes.
Yeah, I'll
but
totally go up there.
I'm more just snooping. I'm like, I don't really care about the files.
It's like, why don't you hold up the light and I'll filter around. It gives you a chance to just sort of look around the light while I'm digging for the files.
Okay. And you find a file of some newspaper clippings. And there's a newspaper clipping about the fire itself. Just double checking. You find that the house wasn't destroyed, and it ended up being sold at auction because when Trask died, the place went into receivership, and it was bought by a newspaperman, Nathaniel Harper, publisher of the London Harbinger, a paper of dubious repute, according to the newspaper clipping that you have. And it does mention the fact that Dr. Philip St. John was sort of governor of the estate since Robert Trask was not
Impaired, yeah.
Yeah, correct. There's also there's a few like medical files that looks like they got mixed in that look like they're from Dr. St. John. Just some notes and some sessions and things like that. And then you find something that had there's a
You can make it out.
there's a small looks like it's torn out of a book or something.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thanks, guys.
I mean, technically, I was perfectly willing to go up there and look, seeing as I'm a librarian, but you jumped right in there.
That's my job. Don't you understand? That's my role in this party.
Sanity tank.
Some people are
Take it on the chin.
are damaged sponges. He's a sanity sponge.
Yeah.
While he's looking through the boxes, I'm just gonna like snoop around the attic looking for anything that I think is suspicious or cult-like.
Okay. You find absolutely nothing like out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Pirate treasure maps.
There are some pirate treasure maps, a whole box of them. No, there's some like paintings. You find a few photographs.
Anything related to anything?
No.
Every single one of them is a seascape.
I immediately get bored and I sit down wherever I can sit down and wait for him to finish going through these
Okay.
boxes.
There's a dress form.
To sit on?
No,
Oh.
not to sit on. There's just a dress form. I'm just
okay.
describing some of the stuff that you're
I said I was
staring
sitting
at
down.
while
You're
you're
like,
bored.
there's a dress form. I'm like, that's not what a dress form's for.
That's not what you do with
No.
a dress form.
No.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying there's one.
You gotta be ready to improvise in an attic.
Like,
So she's just sitting
You-
there bored.
Okay.
I like to think that you move like your foot and you kick one of the paintings over, and behind it is just like a painting of a sheep,
Yeah.
like one sheep.
In a giant field of green.
Yeah.
It's just a little
white
one
dot.
brush dab of white with a tinier brush dab of black in the front.
She shakes her head and rolls her eyes and is just like, how did I get here?
There's a wedding dress on the dress mold.
Okay.
Dress form.
That's creepy. Okay.
Okay, I take this, I fold it up neatly, and I put it inside my own breast pocket.
Okay.
And I separate it out from everything else.
Okay.
And I collect the rest of the materials and bring them downstairs.
Okay.
And I go, I think I've located all of the files regarding to this. There'd be some very interesting things for you, Doctor.
Oh, very good, very good.
Now, are there any effects of me reading this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, good.
For once.
For
Oh,
once.
nice. What
What a nice
just
change.
a wonderful, nice visit with a nice lady in a cottage.
Had some nice tea.
I should have had the tea. Now I regret
I know.
missing out on just calm and relaxing nice things.
Speaks
It
well
was
for
quite-
Stu's GMing at how paranoid we are. Like,
Yeah.
No,
doesn't
I
have
don't
to
want
do
any
anything.
tea. No thanks.
It's like, oh, you
Like-
go to the KFC. Well, we're
Yeah.
looking for monsters. What? Really?
I'm going to take
This
a
is-
sniper position while you knock on the door. It'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah.
KFC.
We were walking up to the Nesbitt house.
As we thought.
KFC in England requires a sanity check.
This is true.
That is not the same as what we have here. It's like made of. It's like cornmeal batter, and it's thick.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm just saying, go to the kebab shop.
Right.
Just go there.
It's better.
Oh, yeah. That's the best English food is
Food
exactly
they
that.
stole from the colonies. Yes.
Exactly. Because our food sucked before that. Okay. And I go,
Oh, good. Well, I can't thank you enough, Nurse Northrup, for your kind hospitality and your assistance in all of this information.
Oh, of course. Please call me Gail.
Well, Gail, you have been truly a wonderful testament to the kindness of the English spirit.
Oh, I thank you very much. And can I say that you are much more polite than what I've heard you are? As Americans, I should say.
Ah!
and then we all went,
See, I take a minute and I say things are all nice, and then Stu twists the knife.
Doris is going to roll her eyes so loudly this woman might have known.
This is my optic nerve creaking.
Oh. It's not. It is unfortunate that so few of the worst of us make the largest splash.
Well, that's. I suppose that's true in every culture.
I think it's time we go.
Yes, we should leave you to it, and thank you so much again.
Oh, thank you. And come by any time.
Well, thank you. I don't know how long we'll be here in your wonderful village, but if the opportunity arises, we shall.
it was a great pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
It was a pleasure to meet you as well. Thank you very much. Enjoy your time.
We'll see yourselves out.
All right.
Opens the door. Heads out.
I think we should
Uncocks the
go.
pistol in the
I think
pocket.
we should go to pay a visit on Lord Smith.
That's
Yes?
while we travel over there.
I'm going to...
I did find something of something I didn't want to discuss in mixed company, but the note says on the top, and it's initialed by someone MC. I was only able to acquire one page of the A. Edwards Journal, Volume 3, page 12. The typesetter became remarkably agitated, and I felt my life in danger. MC. Hound of Tyndalos. I was unable to discern the etymology of Tyndalos, though the term hound is somewhat obvious. Although this creature has no kinship with earthly Canis familiaris, being a quadruped of remarkable size and having very roughly a dog-like shape. When upon all fours, the head of the creature reaches nearly as high as a full-grown man, and upon hind legs would stand perhaps 8 to 10 feet high. The creature, beneath the dark bluish pus, appears unnaturally angular, almost prismatic, and appears of a crystalline construction. The most remarkable aspect of the hound is its long tongue, which is extend nearly 2 feet in length, and it appears to have a bony support structure within, making it rigid and sharp.
All right, that's fine. I think we all know what that thing is describing.
May I?
It has other details, and perhaps scrutiny of that might give us some insight as to how to handle the beast. And perhaps what is attracting it to us.
Well, I mean, it's being sent. See, I knew there was something wrong with that old lady.
A. Edwards Journal.
I mean, she's got this stuff in her house all about the.
It names the bride there as well, and also says that the creature seems to be attracted to temporal disturbances. Or things that happen outside of the order of natural time.
Well, that wouldn't make sense why it would be attracted to us if we have been inadvertently
seeing things we shouldn't be seeing in the dream realm, yes.
Oh.
But the woman that is named as the consort is named there. Another Abigail, by the way.
Yes. Abigail 4.
Abigail Athenbright. Are they just all going to be named Abigail?
They might.
Every single one of them.
I went through the same thing with my insert coin game, where I accidentally named every single person some variation on Margaret.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, I mean, this woman has documents in there, and she's locking her doors. I mean, did you see the locks on that door?
Well,
Something.
That's unusual even for New York City
Yeah.
at this point.
There's something wrong there. We should go in and make her tell us what it is.
No.
Oh, I would venture that this poor woman has probably had an experience similar to ours.
You should tell us about it.
I would say that the odds on someone telling 4 strangers who knock on her door, asking about Robert Trask, about a strange happening, such as the ones that we have experienced, would be slim to none. And there's no need to terrorize her further now that we have the relevant information.
No, I mean, do we know that she doesn't know anything else? We should at least go back and ask.
I am not going to terrorize an old woman when we're already wanted for various nefarious deeds in London. We can go and investigate further with Lord Smith, who we already know has a connection to the cult in the Northeast.
That is true.
well,
Also, I do not want to draw the attention of this hound again.
No. We should make sure that if we sleep, that we do so with enough drugs in our system that we don't do any traveling, I think.
Or perhaps stagger our sleep so we're no longer sleeping at the same time. These things have only really happened when all 4 of us have been available.
True.
So as you're leaving, you're starting. It's like almost sunset.
Wait, I'm gonna go, and go to like a nearby house, like not right next door, but like 4 houses down, and just knock on the door.
Okay. No. Farmer.
Okay. Do they unlock like 8 locks?
No.
Okay.
Hello?
I'm so sorry. I think I picked the wrong house. I'm sorry to trouble you.
Who are you looking for?
We were looking, you know what? I think it's down this way. Thank you so much.
Righto.
Yeah. Though she's the only one with that many locks on her door.
I am not saying that the situation is unsuspicious, but she was very forthcoming with some information and some things that were hidden within those files, and she was actually somewhat insistent that we take them. It could be that she just merely wanted to point us in the right direction without implicating herself any further. She could be terrorized as much as we are.
Or perhaps she's looking for someone else with similar experiences. Perhaps she's testing us.
Well, I feel more than anything like this woman is trying to hide and keep safe.
Mm-hmm.
I admit the appeal of a door with many locks does strike a chord with me after the things we've seen.
But I'm not saying she's wrong to do so, but I'm saying she might know something.
And I am saying that she's a very old, blind woman who is completely unable to defend herself if we, through further pressure and questioning and forcing her to relive this, bring the attention that is already upon us upon her.
Why was she?
The information that we have obtained from her is quite good. This letter, this journal page gives us more information in a succinct manner than we've been able to find over the course of months. And I don't want to bring harm or danger upon this woman. I feel very adamant about it.
Well, we certainly have enough avenues of interest before we go back and need more from her.
Very well.
If we were at a dead end, I would consider things differently. But she in fact, opened up a whole roundabout of places to go in this investigation.
Very well. But let's not completely rule out coming back here if we need more information.
No.
For anything else to attempt to secure the safety of the woman if harm were to come by her because of our visitation, I would be quite distraught at that.
Well, at this point, we should see about finding some lodgings.
Indeed. It is
Before
starting
the sun goes
to get dark.
What, should we try and find... I mean, there won't be that many places in a village this small.
I'm sure there's a bed and breakfast somewhere.
Yeah. So we go about the business of trying to find find ourselves a place to stay for the night, because it's obvious we have a lot more to do around here.
All right. Yeah, there's a Hemblinden Inn that's a bed and breakfast. Reasonably large house with probably eight bedrooms.
See if we can get a couple of rooms.
Okay, not a problem.
Doris is going to drug herself asleep again.
Now, are you getting in? Is Dr. Freedman injecting you? Because you guys grabbed some vials.
Yeah, that's... I forget what it was, but it was the stuff that doesn't actually give you real sleep. It
Just knocks you.
out.
I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
That staying on that stuff for an extremely long period of time is a very bad idea.
I don't think she's doing it in front of anybody.
Okay.
I think she just has it in her bag now and takes it at night.
Oh, so you're injecting yourself?
I think the first time I probably had him do it, and now she's probably just doing it to herself.
Because you have to find a vein.
Yeah.
This isn't like just giving yourself a shot in the arm. You're like, okay.
She's been out in the wilderness and done probably set limbs and stuff if necessary. And things
sure.
like that. I mean, I don't know. I guess. Do you want me to roll for it? Should I ask him? I don't know. I guess if I have to find a vein.
Well,
it's a little trickier.
you don't have access to whatever techniques he uses to clean his syringes as well. So that means you're probably using.
Why would things have to be cleaned? I don't understand.
It's the 1920s. They know about germs.
I'm not saying they don't. Doris.
Right.
All right. So yeah, I'll probably have
Because
it.
what I'm saying is, within a week or two, you're going to have some pretty significant track marks.
That's true.
Which,
But I'm
at
also-
the time, no one may even know what it is.
Yeah. And I might have long sleeves.
Right.
So yeah, I guess I will ask him to inject me with the sleep stuff again.
Oh, well, I believe Dr. Holzman's idea of staggering our sleep is a good idea also.
Yes, we should do both.
The long-term after effects of these type of drugs can cause dementia. I seriously recommend that we only use these upon duress or extreme need. You get no actual real sleep. And it tends to mess with your cognitive abilities after a certain point.
Well, I'm feeling fine now, and I don't want to have any dreams.
I understand this, but
If you'd like me to take first watch and then get a dose after, that's fine. I understand.
Just gonna push a bottle of whiskey towards you. And just say, there are many ways not to get dreams. Let's go get drunk.
Are we supposed to be taking watch or something?
that's fine. You guys go do what you need to do. When you guys stumble back in, we'll get some rest.
That's not how drinking whiskey works.
Well, no, why don't you drink the whiskey here, and we will sleep now. And when you feel that you can drink no more, awaken us, and we shall watch over.
Very good. If I have dreams tonight, you inject me tomorrow.
If it becomes a problem, but I certainly wouldn't want you to develop any kind of
Cognitive
hankering.
impairment.
I feel like that's the least of our worries at the moment.
Well,
If having one of these dreams brings one of these hounds after us again,
Although, if you I worry that dementia might be the same. Might have the same effect.
well, then we're in the company of many qualified professionals who know how to treat that type of dementia. Until one of us figures out how to fight one of these dogs, that's when I'm more worried about.
Certainly mind.
Yeah, go find and keep it.
is there anything else in there that you should know?
Actually, we should probably all look at that at some point, I think.
You can just say that people have read it if they want to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of data.
I'm gonna say
in there.
Doris doesn't want to look at it.
Yeah.
She just trusts if there's a way to kill it in there, tell her, but she doesn't want to read a lot about it.
Let us drink. 2 glasses, and I am not going to get wasted, but I am
Doris.
very much in favor of helping Doris
Okay.
have lots to drink.
All right.
Doris doesn't need help with that, but she's fine with
Right.
company.
Now, are you even worried about being able to be cognizant enough to wake them up?
I mean, I am going to keep relatively sober. Like, I'm
Okay.
not concerned. I truly believe that, like, if we're not all asleep at the same time, that the dreams, like,
Okay.
that'll be fine.
I think,
But also that if one of us ends up in the dream, since we've been able to wake ourselves up, like, by willing it, that if we're not all there together, I'll just wake myself up.
Okay.
I think Doris would try, like, she'd pace herself because she'd be terrified of falling asleep while other people are asleep because she doesn't want to accidentally have us all fall asleep
All right.
again. So she's drinking, but she's pretty good at drinking.
Now, giving them like 4 hours of sleep.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's also used to taking watches and stuff. So
Enough
she's-
for a REM cycle. We should be good.
Right. Okay. Go ahead and give me like a.
On?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. A
Okay.
con roll.
Okay. 82. Shit. My con's 80.
No, that's a
Wait,
28.
Oh, 28. Oh, okay. Get in my.
Okay.
Yes, I make it by a lot.
Right.
Doris is good at drinking and she's good at taking watches.
So you're basically sipping,
yeah.
short glass after short glass, and after a couple of hours, there's a light on in the hallway, and you can kind of see the light in the crack in the bottom of the door because you guys are sharing a room, I assume,
Yeah.
and you guys are sharing a room,
Yep.
right? Okay. And you see,
I figure we've actually all gathered.
it's up to you guys. You tell me.
I don't think we'd do that in a small town.
Yeah, no. We'd get
Yeah.
kicked out.
Yeah.
Bad gas travels fast in a small town.
Yes, it does.
I understand, but I thought that was the whole point of having people awake and
Well,
asleep.
can we have is there a situation where we could have adjoining rooms?
Yes,
Yeah.
with a little
So we'll do
with,
that.
with those little double door dealy
Yeah.
bobs. Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely have that.
That's fine. So that door's open.
Okay. All right. So anyway, through the crack in the door leading to the hallway, you see like some shadows moving, like someone is walking by, and then they stop in front of the door, and it looks like they're just. mean, you can't see feet, but you see like shadows in the light coming from
Oh, I know
underneath
exactly
the
what
door.
you're talking
Someone is outside the door.
Yeah, I binge watched Haunting of Hill House today, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And it's
Oh, they do
scary.
that in there?
Scares the shit out of me thinking about it right now. I'm like staring at it.
You got to go back and watch it like twice more to try and catch all
Is
the
there a
things.
peephole in the door?
Hmm?
Is there a peephole in the door?
You don't see any. You don't notice
a
this.
Peephole.
Oh,
not
peephole.
peephole.
Oh, a peephole. No,
Not
probably
peephole.
not. Probably not in a bed and breakfast.
So it's just standing outside the door.
Yeah. There's basically like two shadows.
Yeah. No, yeah. So I have my gun as always, like in my pocket. Click.
Doris, what's the matter?
And point under the door. Like put my finger to my lip, like, and then point under the door at the shadows.
There's no shadows.
I'm just gonna hold my hand up and I'm gonna say, like, to the fingers, eyes.
Like looking at you.
No, yeah, but more like I'll go look.
Yeah.
So whatever hand signal is necessary for that.
They're just gonna stand up and like put her hand. You're not armed. She's like, so she's gonna go, and she's gonna do the thing where she's like leaning against the door, and then like throw the door open
Okay.
and point the gun at whatever's there.
There's no one there.
In your pocket. Put it in my pocket. Shut the door. Lock it. Are there any furniture, like other furniture? Like, is there like a chair or a desk or something?
Oh, sure.
You're going to go and immediately start moving stuff in front of this door?
Well, you can take the chair and kind of wedge it under the
that's what I
doorknob.
was thinking, yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, so she does that. And, yeah, and then just kind of goes back and sits and just kind of stares at the door. Just trembling, just like slightly.
There's definitely someone walking by.
Yeah.
You can see shadows and then come back from the other direction.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't bother her. Like, unless they stop, like, people being up and around is none of her business, but...
I mean, it's past midnight now.
Yeah. But now she's super creeped out, because she's like... Now she's wondering if she's actually crazy, or if there's a thing there that she can't see. She's very, very disturbed.
Okay. All right. And then the 4 hours pass. You're probably, at this point, accelerating your drinking.
Yeah.
Because you do have to be able to pass out at some point.
Yes.
So the 4 hours have passed. So you can, if you want to awaken them.
Go ahead and go to bed, Doris. I'll awaken the men and be in just presently.
Well, let's do it together. She's like, really doesn't want to be... She wants to make sure they're awake before she goes and lays down. Just like out of character explaining why she's like...
Yes, no, that's fine.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah. Hey! Bam, bam, bam.
Yep. Well, time already? Okay. I have a little glass of water, some bicarbonate, and take that down.
Okay.
Well,
Pleasant rest.
it was
I'm assuming nothing unusual.
Yeah, you slept.
Okay.
restful, adequately restful.
Yes. Now, you get some sleep, and we will keep watch.
Very well. She goes and she takes another like shot, and then
Okay.
goes and lays down on the bed.
Go over to a table and pull out a deck of cards.
Okay. And you go to sleep as well. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
She went in, so if you...
I'm going to wait
Okay.
until you're asleep to
Okay.
go in there.
Okay. That I don't
I
think
have
at this point-
no trust.
Yeah. At this point, it doesn't take very long for you.
Right. Okay. Hour and a half into your shift, kind of out of the corner of the eye, you see something in the upper corner of your room. I mean, it's, you're trying to keep the lights low. You probably have like a lamp or a lantern on the table where you're playing cards. I would assume that's probably your only light. But it's not, there's like a darker shadow coming from like the corner, upper corner of the room. And you both see it. But it's like out of the corner of your eye when you look, it's just, it's
I'm
not
just
there.
going to casually reach over and grab the lampshade and
Okay.
point it so that the light goes in that direction better.
Okay.
Anything?
No. Mm-mm.
All right.
I think our minds are playing tricks on us. We're seeing monsters around every corner.
Well, indeed. When we've been around several corners and have actually found monsters.
Yep. I mean, I'm not saying that it's unjustified. But we need to keep our wits about us and not jump at every shadow.
Certainly. I'll set down my cards and then I'll stand up and I'll walk into their room
Okay.
just to double check on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just
out.
sleeping.
She's snoring. She's like buzzsaw snoring.
Okay, that's fine. But I mean, nobody's like thrashing about
No.
or having.
Same thing happens in that room, though, as you're like walking through the pass door in between, sort of in the upper corner, out of the corner of your eye, you kind of see some sort of darker spots emanating from the corner. And then when you look at it, it's nothing. There's nothing there.
I'm specifically not going to look,
Okay.
but I am going to go, like, reach up and slap at it
Okay.
on the way out of the room.
How loudly are you slapping?
I'm not like, "Argh," but just like reach up and like make a grab.
Okay. Make a power roll. 1/5.
Sure, here we go. No.
Okay. You kind of reach up there. You don't feel anything, but it feels cold. And then when you pull your hand down, you kind of walk back in to where he is, and then your hand starts to itch.
I'll look at it.
It's red. And it's actually starting to itch to the point where it's kind of starting to burn.
So like it felt real cold.
Well, no, this feels more like someone sprinkled lye on your hand and then poured a little water on it. It's like starts out as sort of an itchy feeling, and then it gets more and more intense, and then it starts getting extremely intense. And your skin is turning red. And it's happening quickly. The pain is becoming rather significant.
Well, I'll get a towel and
Okay.
attempt to.
It's getting worse.
So you described it as lye, so I don't want to wash my hand. But I guess I will.
Okay.
Well, what's the thing that neutralizes lye? Like it's a
Vinegar or acid
Yeah.
of
An
any
acid.
sort.
Do you have anything in your bag?
I don't have my bag.
True. Is there anything vinegary in the hotel?
Maybe.
Probably in the kitchen.
Yeah. If it gets like that, then I'll.
Well, you start pouring water on it. It gets worse at first, and then it sort of starts diluting.
Okay.
So you have like a pitcher and a basin, and you're sort of pouring it over, and eventually it stops. But you actually have a couple of like little small white blisters on your fingers. On like the backs of them.
All right. I'm gonna walk over and put my hand in the light. Be like, I tried to touch that shadow.
I see.
He sees the blisters too, right?
Oh, his hand's blistered.
Okay.
That is a tangible, real-world effect of that, yes.
So we shall be extra cautious until sunrise.
And both of you, because you know what the stakes are. Give me like a. Oh, what would that be? Does power has a like a mundane aspect to it as well, doesn't it?
I'm
Trying to remember. Let me check real quick because I want to make sure.
Sure.
I want to call for a power roll if it's the right thing.
It was definitely a mistake to binge horror shows all day before this game.
Huh?
Like now you're talking about like shadows and corners and like you're like, don't look at it. I'm like, yeah, don't look at it. That fixes everything. If you don't look at the ghosts, they don't know you see them.
See, that's a gamble because you got to know what kind of ghost you're dealing with.
If you haven't watched the show, like I hate scary stuff, so I had to watch it in the middle of the day like a total child. But and I may
it's
still
brilliant.
have.
It's
so
super well
good.
done.
It's so good because it's like it's so good.
Okay, it would definitely be a power roll. Power indicates a force of will. So, both of you give me a power roll with a bonus die, because you know the stakes to see and make sure you. And if you both fail, then you both at some point doze off.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can wake each other up.
I failed.
I just want it to be noted that my power is 80. I rolled a 90 and an 80 on my top end dice, and an 8 on my 8.
So you failed.
Use some luck.
I failed by way more than my
Okay,
luck
I will
is
spend my
supposed-
8 points to make it.
Let me just double check to make sure you can use luck on a power roll. There's a few things you can't use it on. I'm not sure.
I mean, it wasn't an order. I was just saying, like, for the sake of your sanity.
Actually, it's probably a good idea.
Find it.
Man, out of character, I was trying to get my my players to use their luck yesterday in my game, and I was like, they were like, no, I'd rather see what happens when with the failure. I was like,
There could be
Jason in the
too
game.
many powered by the apocalypse games. Just maybe just too many.
Right.
No.
Oh, I've got a note here somewhere that says what luck does not work on. I can't find it.
Doris is going to be super mad if we both fall asleep. Super mad come morning. Or if we all wake up in a dream at the same time.
You dicks, you had one job.
so I guess I could just roll to see if I woke up from all the commotion of you, like, with the washing of your hand and all the pain and
That was
everything.
kind of in our room.
Okay.
I can't find it, but I'd go ahead and use luck on it if you want.
Then I make it. Barely.
If I had used all my remaining luck, I would have still been 2 points short.
Okay. So at some point, you fall asleep, and you kind of start to doze off, because you're just basically kind of sitting there after a while, just sort of zoned out. And just as you're starting to lull off into sleep, you happen to notice that he's, like, out, head on the table.
Okay.
So,
I shake myself clear, and I just basically give him a tap on the shoulder.
okay.
Make him up.
No. Oh, heavens. I'm sorry, Doctor.
I almost fell victim to it myself.
Okay. And then at some point, over the next 45 minutes or so, you start to see the sky starts to get that sort of deep blue early glow of an impending dawn.
Okay.
It seems like our watch is nearly at an end.
We need. Okay, and then you can wake them up anytime you want. It's been 4 hours at this point. You want to be kind and let them sleep.
Yeah.
Let them sleep a little bit more.
Well, it's not like we can rush out the house at 6 o'clock in the morning and be like, time to go visit the local lord. Like,
Okay. And you can, after probably another 45 minutes or so, you start to hear some commotion downstairs of the pots and pans banging around and such.
I go downstairs to see if I can get a pot of coffee to bring up.
Okay. Sure. They give you a pot of coffee and a tray with 4 coffee cups.
Yeah. And I bring that upstairs, and I let the smell of warm coffee waft through the room.
Okay.
That's how I usually wake up my wife. It's like, here's some coffee.
That is very kind of you.
It
Check. Look at check. When you have to check.
yeah, I did chapter 5.
Great.
Awesome.
So I wake up
I do not.
and go about my morning business.
I guess eventually I probably do.
I mean, it's perfectly. I feel like it's perfectly reasonable that you would not wake up until somebody made you wake up.
Yeah. I feel like
With
it's
the
gonna
amount
take-
that you drank last night.
Yeah, it's going to take.
And the
some
fact that you
significant
only had
notice.
about 4 or so hours of sleep, you probably are waking up drunk.
Yeah.
So,
At least I don't
like-
have a hangover.
Right.
that'll
I
happen
just
right when
think,
we go
like-
calling on people.
Let's let Doris sleep a little bit, what with the effects of the medication not allowing real rest is what you said, correct?
Yes. She probably
So-
needs to catch up a bit.
Just a bit. And anything that could give us an advantage in bolstering our emotional and mental states.
Agreed. Well, I did not plan on waking either of you ladies until you rose naturally anyway. It did not seem to make any sense to not do so.
True. Though, the two of you have only had 4 hours of sleep, and I've obviously had more. If one of you needs to get some additional rest now, seems like a good time to do it.
Well, we'll see. Perhaps tomorrow we'll switch our watches.
Yes. I just think that now, like in the
I
hours
already have
before
some
decent
coffee in
time.
me, so if you wanted to lay down for a little while longer, I wouldn't.
No, but I could go for some bacon.
Breakfast is yet another way to fortify ourselves.
Quiet, not like this is a quiet conversation in our room through the connecting door. I'm like, I could go for some bacon. I just hear nodding from the other room.
Doris in her sleep nods. Yes. That's
Okay.
totally Kimi.
So you wake up, and you're back in the experimental room with the 4 sort of gurney chair, like reclining chair things,
Okay.
and the other 3 of them are asleep.
Oh, good. Am I dressed in what I was wearing when I really went to sleep?
Nope,
Nope.
nope. You're dressed in a hospital gown.
Do I have my gun?
You do not have your gun.
I'm gonna look around. Is there anything I could grab as like bludgeoning weapon of any type, or sharp scalpels or anything?
Oh, there's like, I mean, there's some implements and things like that here.
I will grab a random implement that looks like I might be able to swing it or stab it or something.
Okay.
Like just kind of like look around.
Like a stainless steel, like a little small hammer.
Sure, perfect. And then go over and like try and shake one of them, whichever one was closest.
They're cold. Whoever, let's say it's Dr. Holzman, cold to the touch. And you look, and then he has like the power of death.
All 3 of them do.
Yes.
Cool. I'm going to bolt for those double doors
Okay.
that we went through last time, brandishing my little hammer.
Okay. You're walking through the sand.
Fuck. Would have taken the medicine, asshole. Alright, well at least I know now.
I'm jealous. I want to go back.
I know, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Well, at least now I know I'm asleep. Do I still have the hammer in my hand?
Yeah.
I start like hitting myself,
Okay.
like on the arm, or like you know how people pinch themselves trying to wake themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to like inflict a measurable but not just decompass,
Right.
like injurious amount of pain on myself to be like, okay, wake up,
Okay.
wake up.
You guys notice that she's thrashing, starting to thrash about. Go ahead and make a power roll.
Oh, good.
From our side, can we assist by attempting to wake
Sure.
her?
Yeah. I'm definitely trying to wake her up.
And that would add a bonus die.
Okay.
So another 10s.
There you go.
26. Okay. Yay.
You have more
26
power
makes
than
it.
26.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you wake up. And like the last thing you see, like you're hitting yourself and you're kind of looking around and you see that constellation in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And you notice that the star that has the slight circle around it, it's redder, and it seems to be glowing brighter and brighter than you remember before.
Okay.
So like it stands out amongst that constellation,
Okay.
and you're awake.
Okay. Fucking drugs tomorrow. Son of a... I thought... I went back there. I was in the damn operating room. And I'm Irish. I don't know how that. That's right. And the and I went back to the desert too.
But you were able to wake yourself up.
Or you did.
Or both. So, nothing... No one else was there, nothing else happened, correct?
I saw the stars again, and one of the stars was brighter and redder than it was when we saw it last.
All right.
We need to go. We need to get out of here. One of those dogs might show up.
Well, I think the chances are much less.
We have no idea.
Well, then we don't know that it wouldn't follow us as well. So we have this one place, and we have a place that we can go. So let us get some breakfast inside of us.
She's getting up and she's putting her stuff.
I mean, and we shall all eat a hearty breakfast and go speak to Lord Smith.
No. I'm not staying here to eat any breakfast.
Doris, there's no place in the world we're safe.
No, I know that, but right here, right now, they might be here sooner. If it has to track us down, it gives us a few more minutes to get it farther away.
You're free to do what you want. I'm having breakfast.
She puts the rest of her stuff in the thing, and she walks out the door.
Okay. So, whoop, off you go. Do you guys go down for breakfast?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
By the way, colleague to colleague, I apologize about the bacon thing. It was insensitive.
You eat bacon. It's a question of individual faith, my friend. I choose not to. And whether you do or not is irrelevant to me. It does smell good, though.
And they had the sort of little bench set up where and they have like little racks of toast sitting out with jams and such and butter and baked beans, and they have sausages, and they do have bacon as well, and then they also of course have eggs, and they ask you how you would like your eggs cooked.
Poached.
With all this wonderful toast, I think I should go with sunny side up.
Soft-boiled.
Okay. No, a few minutes.
There's this poor British purveyor of a bed and breakfast.
Just put up fucking
Eggs 3 different ways for these people.
Get your shit scrambled, you fuckers. That's all you get.
Well, soft-boiled is the usual British breakfast, so I feel like that's like, yeah, exactly.
I love a good soft-boiled egg.
Same.
I don't know if I've ever had a soft boil.
They're delicious.
I've got a steamer that will make them soft boil, but I don't think I've ever.
Oh, it's so good.
I always have them sunny side up. Anyway, so after a few minutes, they bring your plates out with your eggs, and then most of everything else is already sitting on the table, family style. So, and they give you like the little holder thing with the little tiny spoon.
This is the real reason I get the soft-boiled.
Because you get the little spoon.
You gotta crack them with a knife. You gotta around the edge.
Okay.
Okay. Have some breakfast and.
When you cut into your eggs, the yolk comes out blood red.
I'm gonna seek confirmation in what I see. I'm not trusting my own eyes.
Yeah, as soon as that happens on my plate, I look at his plate.
Yeah.
Okay, make
What am I seeing?
nothing. I think there's actually a roll you make to notice when you are.
Like a doubt
I'm
roll.
gonna stay out loud.
Something like
I disbelieve. I'd like to make my save now, please.
Okay. let me find it. I believe I put that under sanity.
Sanity dash lack thereof.
That's like the.
Okay,
type.
player may make a reality check to see the world as it is. This is a SAN roll. If you fail, you lose 1 sanity and suffer a bout of madness. If you do not, you see through the delusion. There is a cost.
gotta make it.
Okay. Yeah, your eggs are. It's just like a rich, deep yellow. I mean, they're obviously
They allow them to
fresh.
eat bugs. Yeah.
Right. Free range. Would you like to make the roll, or you were seeing blood?
On his plate too?
Yes, on hers
And
and
her
her little
egg.
other spoon, and she's eating it with voraciousness.
I mean, I like to think that I have manners.
Well, yeah, you're not like.
Just like this egg bukkake.
Oh, why? Why are we watching this?
I don't want to look, but I can't tear my
You know
eyes
what?
away.
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
I'm gonna try.
Do it.
I shouldn't try,
Go
but
bash
I
it crazy
feel
at
like
breakfast.
I'm going to because. Yeah. Nope.
How low is your sanity?
Now it's at 22.
Oh my god! No wonder you said you shouldn't try.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 23.
23. Okay.
My mistake.
So you suffer a bout of madness.
Good.
Who's your character sheet? The business side. Okay.
The only reason I made the roll is because I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. I'm gonna want to like. Is this really what I'm seeing? I wouldn't just
Yeah, and that's kind
fold
of
under
where I
it.
went.
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Like, I was 50-50. Like,
Because I don't see myself going, oh, they're blood. Nom, nom, nom. Yeah.
right, but that's kind of where I was thinking.
Let them
like,
eat
I
the
was
blood
kinda
too.
like,
It's fine.
You figure you can catch up with Doris if you leave right now.
All right. So I'll. Well, excuse me. Enjoy the rest of your breakfast. I'm going to walk ahead and take a little bit of a morning constitutional, as it were, and I'll grab my bacon
Okay.
and
Okay.
go.
Your bacon that is now covered in blood.
Because you're still seeing the derangement.
Is it?
Make a luck roll. See if
See
if the yolk happened to touch the bacon.
I'm sure
Yes.
it did. It's all over. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's on
Yeah.
everything.
You're just going to
Never
grab
mind.
probably a piece of toast off of it.
Yeah, I'll get toast on the way out of the
Okay.
rack. You see my expression. I look bitter, but I just need to go.
Okay. And you see her way in the distance, and you probably have your satchel or something, whatever you're carrying, a duffel bag or something, you're carrying all your stuff in. And she's like, just turning the corner, headed towards the train station. I'm assuming you're going to the
I
train
wasn't
station.
going to go to the train station.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
was
go.
actually going to wait outside.
Okay.
Or,
all right.
or like down the street, or if there's like a park, or somewhere where I can have full vision range. So
Okay.
if something is going to stalk me, like I can see it coming.
Well, there's like a little little crossroads center of town. There's a fountain.
Okay.
There's sort of like a large courtyard with a fountain in the
Cool.
middle of it. You
That's
can
where
sit
I'll
at the
be.
fountain.
Yeah, I'll be
Okay.
sitting right there because I don't really want to leave them.
Okay.
But I now think that one of these hounds is going to show up because of my dream, and I want to see them and have range on them when they show up.
Okay.
Minor retcon. Given what I was thinking when I was leaving, I'll take 2 pieces of toast.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh.
All right. All right. So you see her, and she's like sitting down on
Head on a swivel.
little fountain with a swivel head.
And I'll walk, and I'll, like, make myself quite visible and known
Okay.
early. Because as much as I desire to catch up, I don't desire to get shot.
Catch up with a bullet.
Okay.
So as I'm walking, I'm going, such a nice morning.
She doesn't pull anything. She's like, oh,
It's good. Well, I just wanted to be very obvious,
Yeah.
so I didn't just accidentally walk up and you were looking the other direction,
Yeah.
and then. Yeah. But I brought you a piece of toast from the proprietor. He had extra.
well, thank you kindly. I am a bit hungry, but any sign of the hound or anything?
No, I'm not so sure about his cooking abilities, but the toast seems safe. Our friends seem to be enjoying their breakfast.
Excellent.
This is where it cuts to the two of us, just in absolute, utter, like, miserable silence. And then back to the two.
Yeah. This is like this coked out stairs. It's like,
And then the two of us sitting on a fountain, just nibbling on a piece of toast,
On long ticks of toast.
like keeping it away from the pigeons.
Must be some fucking aggressive pigeons if you have to, like...
Sometimes they are.
Yeah.
Fuck those pigeons.
Sky rats.
I hate those Romans so much.
Okay. So at some point you guys finish breakfast.
Isadore, before... I'm assuming we go back up to the room at that point, like, so it's a little private. We're in this... As we are going to our separate rooms. Isadore, I don't quite know how to broach this. However, it is apparent from Doris's behavior that her mental state is not improving. In fact, I believe it may be getting worse. And to be perfectly frank, I fear for our lives if she continues upon the path that she currently is on.
She is exhibiting symptoms of high-level paranoia and likes to keep herself very well armed.
And although I have not mentioned this previously, I feel like now I can no longer keep silent. It is my belief, and in truth, I am certain of it, that the man who was murdered in the alley, I came across that body on my way to find Doris that night as we fled from the Hound. Doris murdered that man.
He removes his glasses and sort of rubs the bridge of his nose and goes,
And I can just no longer keep silent when I feel like the state that she is in is going to be so... I thought that maybe if we were able to get away from it, that if once we got to Dr. Kistler, something would help. But nothing has, and she's getting worse. And now that she's got a reticule full of bullets, I really worry that one of us is going to be next.
I share your concerns. What I do not have is a proposed solution. I do not think that Doris would take well to being disarmed. And it might, in fact, trigger the exact type of effect that we're afraid of.
No, she would definitely shoot us. We would definitely be dead.
Yes. I think that the only real course that we have now is to be present and to not leave her under her own devices at any time.
However, that doesn't help that any passing person might become a victim of her wrath, of her paranoia. If she decides that the child walking across the way seems like a threat, she will shoot first and ask questions later. Even in the middle of the night last night, she flung open the door to the room, into the hallway, pointing her pistol out into the way, into the dark, for no reason. There was nothing there.
The only other solution I can think of is finding some way to have her restrained. For I don't know if we'll actually be able to reason with her in any way, shape, or form. I think that we're beyond that point. Her reactions seem to be motivated purely by our shared trauma. And the fact that she entered into the dream state without us actually, frankly, concerns me. Because that invalidates an assumption that we've been going on.
True. However, from what she said, there was nothing there. And we have been the aggressors in the dream state. Although we don't control when we go there, we can control when we wake up. And we do control what we see while we're there.
Well, we've been able to create to control our immersion from the dreamscape. Some of us have been able to pull it off more readily than others.
True. However, I guess I just feel like even if you do end up in the dream, so long as you make an effort to wake yourself, and we sleep in shifts as we have been, the others can monitor and wake us up as soon as there's a sign of distress. Despite Doris's assertions about the hound, we don't actually know that merely entering the dream is what causes...
More disturbingly, another piece of information is that the previous evening we kept seeing shadows out of the corners of our eyes. We initially assumed that we were being paranoid and simply seeing things, but when the good doctor reached up to touch one of these shades, when he brought his hand, he managed to grasp nothing, but when he brought his hand down, it began to burn, and the skin became irritated and red, where he had to pour water over it to dissipate whatever reaction was taking place on his skin.
When did that happen?
Last night while you were asleep.
But while both of us were asleep? Because Doris didn't enter the dream until after I was awake. So that means, in my mind, I mean, I'm no scientist. I realize that the library sciences are not commonly accepted amongst...
You're a person of knowledge, and I respect your opinion.
But it also invalidates the conclusion that the hound is summoned by the dreams. If none of us had them at the time, and there was already something there...
Now...
And I don't know that it was the hound that was there. I do give that.
We're dealing with multiple elements here. We're dealing with some kind of creature that, or entity, or whatever we want to call it, that seems to be a watcher, that seems to be observing us, especially during nighttime.
Or who wants us to observe.
But all of its natural abilities seem to move towards obscurity. It's in the dark, it dwells in the shadows, it gravitates towards the shadows, and when focused in with some light, it seems to simply dissipate. At least that's the experience we had last night. But that leads me to believe that whatever is manipulating these things, or whether it's one thing to begin with, or whether it's an entity coming up with its own conclusion, there seems to be a need to observe us or to be around us wherever we're congregating. Now, there seems to be also some interaction between what happens in this dream state and this creature. Mind you, the last time we saw it, we had just come out of one of these dream states. It could very well be that when we pierce the veil to cross into that dimension, that opening stays open, and that is somehow how it comes back to ours.
Or that it's just here now.
And that's exactly what I was trying to relate to Doris, is that I don't believe there's any place in the world that we'd be able to go to, that we'd be able to find safe.
It's just that I feel like our best bet is to press forward. That we find out more, I mean, obviously this page that you found, it came from someone. Whoever this MC is, the A.A. Edwards Journal. This page, Volume 3, page 12. There's a wealth of knowledge there, hopefully, that we would be able to defend ourselves or find someone who might be able to sever this connection that we have.
The only way to counter the darkness of fear is the light of truth.
And knowledge.
And knowledge, indeed. Then the more educated we become, the more capable we are of defending ourselves. And I do believe that we need to stay the course and move forward. And he basically grabs you by both shoulders and says with extreme earnest nature, I believe that we are instruments of God. I believe that we are here now to stop something horrible and cataclysmic. And whatever happens to us is irrelevant. We just need to see this through and do what we need to do to fulfill our destiny. That is the only way that I can remain grounded, and it's the only way that I can find any purpose in the madness that we've been experiencing.
Well,
So,
God works in mysterious ways.
and it is supposed to be inestimable. But
As does the adversary. So we shall persevere in our cause.
I think the best thing we could do now, other than sedating her permanently or putting her somewhere where she cannot harm others, is to just keep an observant eye on her and try to give her as much rationale and reason through all of this as we can to try to keep her as grounded as we can. Otherwise, we have no choice.
I'm just not seeing any way to do that, to be honest. And while she is literally armed, I will be blunt with you that I have. It's not. I'm not proud of it, but it occurs to me that since she has insisted upon getting the medication tonight that allows her a dreamless sleep, that during that time we put her under care. Something to break through the paranoia. Anything that might be, but it is beyond my ken of what we would need to do. But we need help.
You
we
and
need
I are-
professional help, and not. I mean, Edward doesn't seem to be 100% with us either. I'm not sure. It's just the sense that I get that these things happen, and he just.
Lets them wash past him as almost they were some form of dime novel fantasy.
Yes, so I don't feel like he's the proper person to ask for. We need an outside eye. Somebody who can pierce the veil.
Well, then maybe perhaps we should return to the Institute and see if there's something that they could recommend. Because the only mental health expert that we have with us is questionable to begin with. And frankly, I agree with you. My fear of Doris and her reactions is mounting, and I do feel a clear and present danger. But then again, in my heart, it seems like a deep betrayal for someone who has endured similar ghastly experiences.
We have all been through more than anyone should be put through. Well, what I believe in my heart of hearts is that what it does not give you a right to do is to...
Indiscriminately take life?
Yes.
I
Or
agree.
to indiscriminately take lives of the innocent and the merely people who are as unlucky as to just cross your path. That we must go with our eyes as wide open as possible and see the world for what it actually is.
A more difficult task now than it was simply a few days ago.
Very true.
What I am seeing here is that we have a problem that does not have an obvious solution as of right now. I think that while we are here, we need to investigate every single recourse that we have in this village.
True.
After that, then perhaps what we need to do is reconfigure our thinking as to what we need to do with Doris. But we have to stay the course here while we are now, keep a close eye on her, and then when we return to London, we should take a further action at that point. But for right now, I see there little for us to do. We're isolated and have no resources.
True. Well, as we thank you for your counsel and for your ear, and if we could keep this just between the two.
Oh, absolutely. But I will keep an eye on your back if you will keep an eye on mine.
Of course. One thing I do want to do is that while Isadore goes back into his room, I'm just going to go down and see if I can send a telegram to Dr. Kistler
Okay.
to see if he knows if he has any associates in the vicinity.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. And where are you leaving for the turn to the hotel or the bed and breakfast?
Yes,
Okay. All right.
I'm assuming.
Okay.
Wherever I could send a telegram from. I don't know if the B&B would have one or if it would be the post office or wherever that is, and then I'll go back to the hotel.
Well, there's a telegram office, but they will bring the message to where you want, or they'll just hold it for you, and you just go and check yourself.
I don't know what you mean. Oh, the return. Oh, you're
Yeah.
talking about where... Yes, the B&B is fine.
Okay, all right. All right, you do that.
Sorry, I totally misunderstood.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the fountain.
Just chilling,
Okay.
trying to look casual.
Wonderful toast.
Yeah. Ate our toast.
Ah, shit. I'm sorry. No, hold it at the telegram office.
Oh, okay. All right. Got it.
Good call.
Okay. So you guys, you and Isadore eventually will walk outside, and you see the two of them sitting there with crumbs on their chins because the toast is long gone.
Having fed the pigeons.
Right. Sitting on a very picturesque water fountain in the middle of the sort of town square.
Well, this is quite the beautiful...
I've probably wrapped my hand.
Okay. Well, it's gone.
Oh,
It's gone.
well, never mind then.
We don't have to do the whole thing, but would you have told me about last night?
Probably not.
Okay. Then we're talking about the weather, the pigeons,
Okay.
people milling about in the early morning, delivering milk and whatnot.
The signs of the village coming to life.
Yeah.
Okay.
If there's like an early morning delivery, like the Iceman or
sure.
one of those, I'd probably ask them for directions on where to find the address for
The Lord.
James Smith.
Oh.
James Arthur Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
Since he doesn't live in the manor.
No. Yeah, the Iceman.
So,
Iceman, come. He tells you that, Lord Smith lives down the lane, and you'll see it. It's a cottage, but it's a nice cottage. I mean, it's for a lord, you know.
oh, certainly.
2-story. Can't miss it.
Very good. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Has a number 8 on the door.
Ah. I will attempt to not mistake it. So by the time they get out, I'll be like, ha! I've sussed out the direction for us to go.
Okay. So you're all now outside around the fountain.
Yeah.
Sure.
Roll initiative.
You know what? As they walk up, I probably give them a once-over.
What sort of once over?
Just a visual inspection to see if they're got blood splatter from breakfast.
Make a spot hidden.
I got a little better at that. Oh!
A 2.
It's 2.
Oh, bam!
Of course.
No, they obviously, they may have left bloody napkins behind, but you see no sign of such on their persons.
Well, that's good.
Now you get it too.
Right. Not when they could have actually saved some sanity or helped me have a good breakfast.
Right. Okay.
I appreciate your company by the fountain.
Indeed. It was a nice morning.
All right. The so where are you guys going? What are you doing?
The cottage.
Okay.
Yes, let's seek him out before he may go about town for the day.
All right.
Is it close enough to walk to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, things are a little spread out. There's some farmlands in between and things like that. But I mean, you can. It's not. It's probably a mile.
Oh, yeah.
It's not bad. So you make your way down there, and it is a nice cottage. It is. The bottom floor looks like it's made of stone, and the top of it looks like it is made of timber. And it was sort of, at some point later, long after the initial construction, was built up on top of the thing. And there's a large wooden door on it, and the 8 on the door kind of looks a little strange to you three.
Oh, good.
But it does kind of look like an 8. It is sort of slightly different shape.
But it looks like, what's the symbol? The yellow symbol?
The yellow sign.
Yeah, the yellow sign. But, like, weird, a little.
All right, burn it with fire.
Like, if the yellow sign was in cursive.
Right. Yeah, basically.
This is the yellow sign in calligraphy.
Right.
Well, it seems we've hit upon the right house.
Signs point to yes. Well, does this make us want to rethink what we're doing?
What are you talking about?
The number on the house.
It's an 8.
It's a little bit more than that, and I sort of just trace it. See the extra squig there? Doesn't look familiar to you at all?
Oh, I understand. However, we already knew that James Arthur Smith had a connection to the cult, correct?
Yeah.
And that is actually why we're here?
Or at the very least, a connection to Trask.
And to Abigail. And to the cult, because we saw the yellow sign in his painting.
Right, and she bought his painting.
True. And so, why
Well,
would we rethink anything?
Him being the black sheep, I was hoping that he would be acting on his own and not be influenced by a larger group here. But apparently, that hope has been dashed.
May still be.
Well, I have to agree with Camilla. We came across the ocean. Seems a long
I did not
way to
say
come
that we
turn
weren't going to
back.
do it. I was just saying, do we want to rethink our course of action? Is all. Just taking pause to see if we want to take whether we want to confront these people directly.
I mean, it's not like they don't know we're here. We have been standing outside for 5 minutes.
True.
And I knock on the door.
Okay. All right. There is not an answer.
Do I hear anything, like notice anything?
Make a listening roll.
Oh man, that's a thing.
Yes, it is.
I don't think Doris has that.
I
But he
make
gets
it.
a baseline.
That's a 38 under my 65.
Okay. You hear someone snoring.
I mean, I am a librarian.
Yeah.
No, that's a legit skill choice,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
She also has the shh skill.
Get her!
That was your whole plan, right?
I'm just going to, like,
It
is
is.
there, like,
It's the sound of someone snoring, where when they wake up, the back of their throat is going to be in so much pain. It's that whoever this is sleeping so deeply, they're literally shredding their uvula.
I'm going to try the doorknob.
Okay, it opens.
Some pain off the ceiling, sleeping on their stomach.
There's someone inside. They're asleep. They're not going to feel very well when they wake up, if I had to guess.
Really, I
Even
thought-
worse than Doris feels this morning.
Oh, I don't feel too bad yet. It hasn't quite worn off. But yeah, it's either someone asleep or a buzzsaw up there. Whatever. Insert time period appropriate loud noise thing.
When she opens the door, you all definitely can hear her.
Oh, well.
It was a cottage, not a sawmill. Okay.
I'm not quite
Sounds
sure
like
how to
this-
proceed. Breaking and entering is not
That
my
really hurt.
normal course of
Yeah.
being.
That was an extended pain.
Of behavior.
Well,
So, you,
perhaps we had a medical reason to open the door and come inside.
lovely, so you can go and wake him up.
I fear he is
Maybe choking.
borderline apnea.
Okay.
Could be very dangerous.
We could just make a loud noise and wake him up from out here.
I don't know that that's going to be enough.
Doris is gonna pull a gun out of her pocket
Nope!
and shoot 3 rounds into the air, super fucking loud.
Would anyone like to try to intercede in this action?
Actually, yes.
I'm not aiming. I'm very clearly not aiming.
I
at
don't
that.
care.
No, that's
You have literally
that's a
no.
lot for
Yeah,
first
that's
thing in the
so
morning
much.
in the idyllic village of England.
Probably not as weird as you think.
In the middle of like just
A mile
Kind of
outside of in the country.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Kinda, that's a
In
lot.
town, in the first thing in the morning, yeah. It's
But we're
weird.
not really in town anymore.
Well, I mean, there's other structures within earshot.
Right.
I mean, across the way, there's probably another cottage, and there's probably another one sort of a quarter of a mile down.
Right,
and-
but you go hunting in the morning.
okay,
No, I'm serious. Like, this
I
is
know.
the thing I know.
I know.
Okay.
We're still gonna try.
Okay, that's fine.
I will likely be unsuccessful.
That's fine.
All right.
But I just want to point out to, like, listeners at home, like, this is a thing that to Doris, like, people go hunting in the morning. You go dove hunting really fucking early in the morning. Like,
Sure.
And the rest of us think that like we're inside, and you could have shot anyone
Oh, no.
on the second floor.
I thought we were still outside.
Oh, you
I
could
had-
Still be
in the-
outside.
Yeah, I
If
hadn't
you
walked
open the
inside.
door, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't have shot it if we were inside. So I'm thinking I'm still standing outside, and I'm like, hey, we should wake this dude up. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. So if someone would like to let's make this like a this would be like a contested dexterity check to basically sort of stay her hand.
Okay.
If someone would like to try to do that, and you will one of you roll, whoever's got the highest.
My dex is 75.
Oh, nice.
Rick,
70.
Nice.
Okay.
So
So
I didn't do very well in my surgical rotation.
so let's assume that
I'll just put it that way.
you're all lunging. You'll roll, and you'll get a bonus die
Okay.
because there's more than one person, and you make your roll as well.
Okay.
And what you're looking for is what sort of success you get. Whether you get you fail, you get a regular success, half, or 1/5.
Got it.
Oh,
Eight.
Jesus.
Oh damn! I got a 21, but it's not gonna beat an 8.
Trick shooter.
So what is
So
your
I got a
dexterity?
half.
You got under half. Okay, what is your
My dexterity is 60.
so you got an 8?
Yeah.
That's under is that under 1/5?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Yes, it is.
5
Okay.
times 8 is
12. Right. Okay. So yeah, you can. How many shots do you want to fire off?
Just like 2 or 3. Like, I'm not
Okay.
trying to make it
It's
sound
the
like a war
38?
zone. Yeah.
Okay. Pop, pop, pop. You fire off 3 rounds. Please mark off 3 rounds if you're 200 rounds.
Ah!
Fucking American.
197.
I'll do it in the back.
An important question: do you wish to pull the empty casings out and reload it now, or do you want to do that later?
I mean, if they're lunging for me, I'm probably going to be like,
No, once you've already shot it, the damage is done. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna.
That's what I kind of figured.
okay.
Yeah, they're basically no, but you're a little faster than we are.
What?
Yeah, what?
And the snoring continues.
So let's go inside quickly then. Close the door. Come.
I'm going to reload them. I'm going to, like, look at them like they're dumb. Like, why are you so upset?
Okay.
Before any neighbors come out to find out who was blasting in their front garden.
She just kind of rolls her eyes at these city folk.
Okay. It stinks in here. Not like death. It smells like BO and feet.
Oh.
Rotted food.
Oy.
Well, let's go upstairs and see who we see.
I'm going to stay down here and watch the door.
Let's search for the source of the snore.
It's definitely coming. There's a stairway over in the corner. It's sort of like a spiral staircase that someone constructed inside one of those wrought iron spiral staircases that leads upstairs.
I'm going to attempt to not touch anything.
Not to touch anything? Okay. All right.
I do not touch with my flesh that which I do not understand.
Okay.
Conan the Cimmerian.
Okay. And it gets once you sort of get above the ceiling level, the smell gets worse,
Oh.
and it's funk.
Take out my
just
handkerchief
general
and put it
funk.
over my face.
I mean, it's not like gonna make you vomit unless you're like me and like really sensitive to like those kinds of smells, but it's it's rank. It smells like a gym locker room that hasn't been cleaned or mopped in a while.
Doris is staying by the front door where the air is the freshest.
Okay. And you can also smell rotted food. I mean, you can smell. It smells like there's milk that's gone bad somewhere, things like that. So you get up to the top, and there's a very nice ornate bed with one of the 4-poster beds that has the little canopy thing over the top of it, and it clearly belongs in some sort of lordly manor. And there is a very thin, very pale, red-headed dude with long hair, kind of a wispy beard and mustache, and he is passed out on his back with a needle in his arm and vomit kind of puddled on the pillow beside him.
Ah. Well, it seems he has a problem. But he's lucky. He didn't aspirate.
Well, can we attempt to determine what's in that syringe?
I'll go over and pull it out of his arm and apply pressure.
Okay. He's got marks.
Sure.
A lot of them.
I would venture to guess that it's probably heroin.
I'm gonna spot hidden and see if I can see any
Okay.
vials or notes or anything that might tell me. Well, I'm just gonna see what I see, I guess.
You don't even need to roll. There is a vial that says heroin right on it.
I'm gonna try to spot hidden for anything else that
Okay.
might be in there.
All right.
just
Okay.
okay, he's a heroin addict, great, but this is the dude who has been painting about the Titanic and sharing dreams with Robert Trask.
Well,
And it's his room. That's a 55 under my 65.
Okay. There is he has a whole stash. You find 9 bottles, in a cabinet, sort of tucked away in the back behind the socks. You find 9 vials of heroin, and there's a trash can with 3 or 4 empties in it. This guy's going through a lot of the stuff. There are in this room. There's a whole bunch of clothes. Most of them look like they're dirty. Like no one's paid to have a laundress come in and take them away and clean them. There's a couple of paintings. None of the paintings are hanging on the walls. They're all seen, and you noticed a few downstairs as well. They're all leaning against the wall. But up here, it looks like this is also his workshop. You've got he's got an area where he's got some electric lights set up, where he has an easel and his little painter's cart and things like that. As far as hidden stuff, you don't really see. There's no books of note. There is. You can see he's writing a letter to Abigail Amherst. He's in the middle. It was in the middle of it at some point, and the writing was getting. Probably wrote it right after. Started writing it right after he shot up. The writing starts out good and sort of degenerates to the point where it's and then he just went and laid down. Looks like.
What does the letter say?
My dearest Abigail, has been quite some time since you've responded to one of my correspondences, and I fear that perhaps I may have said something unkind or inappropriate, and I assure you that our kinship is one of friendship and nothing more. Blah blah blah. Sort of that thing. He's trying to figure out why she's not writing it up.
Why did you ghost me?
Right.
I know I was creepy, but
Yeah.
I'm going to keep
Really,
sending you messages.
But that painting of my penis was meant in friendship.
When the muse strikes, I must paint. And
Please
stare at my
disregard
eyes.
any embellishments.
It wasn't even my penis, it was a joke.
It's a joke
I'm
penis.
fine being friends.
It was the platonic ideal of a penis.
I was drinking.
Don't you think it's beautiful, though?
My,
It's definitely
my
my
portrait
penis.
of Lord Byron's penis.
Unless you don't think it's beautiful, in which case it's not my penis.
Stuff like that, and that's pretty much about all that's up here. And
Start
downstairs,
looking at the paintings. Is there anything weird about the paintings?
oh, they're creepy as shit. They're very similar to the painting you saw in Abigail Amherst's apartment. Some of them are of sort of focus on the Titanic. Some of them focus on these tentacles that are coming up from the water. Some of them focus on the iceberg where you can see the outline of the city, which you've seen numerous times.
Right.
They all seem to be studies of different aspects of this
Of the big
incident.
overall painting that we saw before.
Right. And there's probably like 8 paintings in the whole house, downstairs and upstairs. And they're large. I mean, they're probably like 5-6 feet long, probably 3 or 4 feet high. They're nice sized paintings.
What was the painting he was most recently painting?
It looks like he's just, it's a sketch at this point. And it looks like, almost like it's from inside that cityscape out. Oh. So you can see like he's got, like there's like some spires coming up and you can see the ship cracked in half where he's sketched out in the distance.
Hmm. Well,
and in the top corner, there's like black smudges, like right in the top corner of it.
Like what kind of smudges? Like
looks like little bits of black paint.
Like intentional, or like something else got on it.
Mm-hmm. Or like he had dirty hands and grip.
Doesn't look like it. Well, they.
Don't those black smudges seem somewhat reminiscent of the shadows we see in the corners?
It almost looks like it is illustrated, like someone actually
purposely put it there.
Yeah, it does not like a thumbprint or a handprint or something like that.
Okay.
Does he have a wash basin?
Yes.
Okay, I just rolled an occult to see if like anything strikes me, like if I see the yellow sign anywhere else or any other symbols that we.
In the one he's working on, no.
Okay.
You see that you notice the yellow sign in every painting you look at. It's there somewhere.
Cool.
Is he completely passed out? Because I'm going to inspect his body and see if he has any markings on him.
He is out, completely out. There's like dried vomit in the side of his face, and there's like a puddle of dried vomit on his pillow, and he is snoring incredibly loudly. So you can probably inspect away, and he will.
Let's see if he has any markings on him, or if there's anything odd.
How intrusive do you want to get?
Anything non-genital.
Okay, all right. So he doesn't have any markings on him anywhere. You don't see any like tattoos or carvings or scarification or anything like that.
Okay.
Well, I'll take the picture. Mm-hmm. I'll walk over and, clinical way, pour it over his head.
Okay, all right. He kind of sputters and coughs and sort of leans over to the side and coughs up whatever water he aspirated and then vomits some more. And then promptly seems to fall right back to sleep.
Maybe we should come back later.
Well, where else are we going to head if we...
Does this town have a library, I wonder? Does James Smith have a library in his cottage? Does he have books?
You haven't seen any books at all.
Upstairs.
Or downstairs.
Oh.
Yeah, the downstairs is
basement or attic?
If you're going back downstairs, make a spot hidden roll.
Yay. Because I'm awesome at this.
Got it. 43 under 65.
Nope.
Okay.
I don't see jack.
There's several carpets on the ground, and under one of them you're getting this sort of a clunk that there's some sort of trapdoor.
Oh. Help me, if you don't mind, Doctor, help me lift this carpet.
That's downstairs?
This is in the
first floor again?
ground floor.
Okay. Ground floor, yes.
First floor.
We are in England.
All right, so I'm there helping.
Okay. All right, and
roll back the carpet.
It looks like about a 3x3 door with. I mean, it's built in such a way that where the hinges are sort of beveled down within it, so everything lays nice and smooth. And it's right there. There's a little thing we can.
And we do.
It is dark, and there is a ladder.
Is there a lantern or something around here that we can light to take down there?
Yeah, there's probably an oil lantern hanging on the wall. You can take. You would have to light it. All the lights are down here.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
Yes.
I was like, can we make that happen? We have not had a good success rate so far. Okay.
Poor guy. There's PCs in his house, and he's passed out, and they have fire. It's not going to end well for him.
Probably not.
And
firearms.
It's like burning with fire was my first reaction.
Before we even got inside, yeah.
Okay, going down.
So you head down the ladder, and this is definitely looks like some sort of makeshift basement. It's not. It looks like they've piled rocks along the walls.
So it's an unfinished basement. And doesn't
looks
have
like it was
anything to
dug.
property value.
It was dug out. Right. No, but I mean, someone has gone and like placed rocks to sort of stop the walls from crumbling down.
wow, okay.
And there is the ground is just plain stone and dirt, and the ladder kind of comes down in one corner, and it's fairly large, probably about 20 by 20 or 25 by 25. It's fairly large. It probably extends beyond the perimeter of the cottage itself, and there's like what looks sort of like a stone sepulcher right in the middle of the place.
I don't know what a sepulcher is. Out of character.
A stone, like
Altar.
a stone coffin or an altar,
Oh, okay, cool.
like a
Wait, which is it? Is it a coffin or an altar?
it's a coffin. It's like a thing with a thing.
A lid.
On
It's like
a
a
lid.
square-shaped,
It's like a big
large
table.
box
So
with
it's
a
the
lid.
thing, like that's up on top
the
with a couple of
mausoleum.
steps, and it's a thing,
Yeah.
and you always see people like levering it off, and like,
Yes.
okay, cool,
Exactly.
Thanks. Sorry. I mean, I'm not really sorry. But,
Generally, like very old vampires or knights
Yes.
are put in them. It's-
Right.
whenever you're looking for the key to something and you have to desecrate someone's body, that's what it's in.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Once again, I
there
reiterate,
any-
burn it with fire.
Are there any decorations on it?
There is carved on the top of it. Probably painted on top of it. You can see what it looks like. The yellow sign is painted on top of it.
Is there anything on the walls? Or are there some sconces for torches? Is there any way to actually light the place?
There are. It looks like there are places to put torches, but there's no torches down here,
Okay.
and there's no lanterns or anything like that.
but we could technically hang the lantern on one of the
Sure.
torch hooks.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
But if there was already a way to light the place, I would have just done it. That's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. Okay.
I'd like to confirm with everyone else that sign's on the top.
I do see a yellow sign on top of that.
I do see a yellow sign on top.
Good.
There
All
for-
right.
Can
I
confirm.
mean, I saw it too.
Good. So we're all on the same page here.
Why, Doctor? Have you been seeing things that you shouldn't be seeing?
No, I just wanted to make sure. With the amount of strangeness that we've encountered,
No doubt.
the more confirmation we can accrue, the more solid the evidence. Now,
Does it look like the top of this sepulcher is designed to move?
Yeah, sort of examining it. It looks like it has a. It doesn't look like it's like carved out of the bottom part and the top do not seem to be carved out of the same piece. So if you look from underneath, you can sort of see where there's a seam. There's a seam, yeah.
So maybe this is it. Maybe we take care of whatever's in this box and everything goes back to normal.
Maybe. Or we release something there. I also want to ask, just before we get any further, do we have any... Were there any signs besides the rotten food of anyone else being in the house with him?
Upstairs, there's like a coat rack near the door, and there's like one of the. It's my son feeding the dogs.
Okay.
He says, "Woo."
There was like a woo noise, and I was like,
Oh,
where's
crap.
a weapon? What the hell?
He's saying food.
See, now you don't think it's a bad idea.
There's like a woman's overcoat there, so obviously someone comes in here, and also down here the dirt is disturbed quite a bit. It looks like quite a lot of footprints
Okay.
down here.
well, I'd say we should investigate this quickly before anyone else arrives and before our friend upstairs awakens from his stupor.
I feel like it's something I would have noticed. You said the coats were downstairs.
Right next to the
Okay.
right next to the door.
Okay, well, that's where I was standing much of the time. Is it a nice woman's coat? Because that I would know.
Not like nobility, but I mean,
I'm American. I don't know about nobility. Would a famous person wear that coat?
no, probably not.
Okay, I don't care about it. I didn't pay attention.
It's not a designer coat.
Yeah,
It's
I would like.
It's just
It's
a
just a
decent coat.
well-made coat.
Okay, good to know.
Okay.
So you want to flip this thing over, or
Well,
somebody at the door?
upstairs at the door.
Mm-hmm. Let's leave it right there.
Oh,
Ah,
you're killing me.
Stu, usually I love you, but this is kind of a dick move, pal.
He actually told me why. Like, yeah, it was on the podcast like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. He said that he likes to leave it in cliffhangers because then he knows for sure where we are and where we're going to go, where we are next.
He knows exactly what's
I
going to
have long
happen.
said that I'm jealous of Stu's ability to pick the perfect moment
Yeah.
to end game.
Well, I think part of it is
It is a dick move.
he doesn't look at all at like what time it is.
No.
It's like whatever time he decides
He
is
feels
Yeah,
going
that's
to
a
be
little
the
part of it.
cliffhanger.
Yeah,
It's going to be that.
yeah, that's the perfect moment. Let's leave it there. That's a good call.
I actually do look at the time.
Yeah,
I mean,
I just do it surreptitiously.
yes.
veil of mystery. Stop making the subtext text.
Pay
All
no
right.
attention to the clock behind the curtain.
Do your thing.
Oh,
Outro.
sorry.
That's fine.
Thank you for joining us for tonight's session. What was it, 8, 9?
Nine.
9 of Murmurs at the Abyss in Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. Join us next time in 2 weeks
2 weeks.
at 7:08 p.m. Pacific. No, 4:08 p.m. Pacific time on Sunday. And if you'd like to see the games, go to happyjacks.org/shows, and you can find our game and all of the other games that we're running, plus the Friday night show
Plus all the old shows.
and all the old shows
Yes.
and the new shows
And the one-shots.
and the one-shots. And that's it. Thank you very much.
All right.
And we'll see you next time.
Yes. Oh, and tomorrow.
Tomorrow, a brand new show starting.
Yes.
What?
Well, a sequel.
Yes, but it's still a new show.
Yeah, it's like
You
our
don't
first
have to
big
have
sequel. Though. I'm
watched,
excited.
That's true. Yeah, it is the first return to the same story universe.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true.
I guess
that
Inukai.
the Inukai games.
But the same one with the same characters.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, playing the same characters.
But they're now teenagers? Or?
Now, 13 years later, they're in their mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
For the insert coin Tales from the Loop game, but aged up and playing in the Things from the Flood sequel book.
It's kind of very
from
Gremlins-y.
Fleely,
That's fucking awesome.
where all of the hope and super science dreams of the 80s have crashed down into despair and grunge in the 90s.
So basically, you have 24 hours to binge all the old episodes.
Yep.
Of
You can do it at 2 times speed.
But you,
Just saying.
you're actually you're gonna be able to start here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could absolutely start here if
Okay.
you haven't listened to the other stuff. The main characters are returning, and there's going to be some new characters joining us, and it's going to be an adventure in 1995 Boulder City, Nevada.
Nice.
And people are going to be able to drive now
What?
instead of being
Crazy.
12 years old.
And
On
their
bicycles.
BMX bikes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But do they own cars?
that's a question that
Yeah.
we'll decide tomorrow when they make their character. Because
Yeah.
tomorrow is episode 0, so
Yeah.
it's character gen and that stuff. And in this new game system, the sequel to Tales from the Loop, the characters can die.
Oh!
They are not invincible little story monsters.
Because we don't kill children, but we do kill young adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong
You
with
get
that?
to
Sounds
that,
legit.
You get to that line when you're not a kid anymore and shit gets real.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people get more annoying in their 20s.
Yeah. More likely to be killed. But yeah, we're going to see how everybody's character has aged up and how new characters join into the group. And yeah.
Cool.
Excellent.
Hefty.
And how people deal with the disasters that have befallen Boulder City in the meantime.
Love it.
Woohoo.
See all our other shows when they are at happyjacks.org/schedule, and we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Along the shore, the cloud waves break. the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black scars rise. Strange moons circle through the skies. Much stranger still is lost Carcosa.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.
Bum, 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 bum.